Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay, but we're here now. Thanks for tuning in for episode 2 of What's Faster. Tonight we have a bunch of Resident Evil games, but before we get into that, I have a couple of announcements I'd like to make. Frost Fatale's game and volunteer submissions will be open from November 2nd to November 14th. Go to gamesdonequick.com for more information on that. Also, if you've missed out on any GDQ Hotfix shows, you can check out our archive of past runs at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. I specifically heard last night's TFS show was really good and worth watching, so definitely check that out. Not to delay us any further, we have Carcinogen and Hazeblade here. So if you two would like to introduce yourselves, we can go ahead and get started after that.
Hi, what's up? I'm Carcinogen.
And I am Hazeblade.
Great. So we have Carcinogen is going to be running Resident Evil 1 through 3. We're going to do 3 different races tonight. So Carcy will be running the original games, and then Hazeblade will be running the remakes of those same 3 games. So it should be pretty interesting. It should be a lot of fun. And whenever you two are ready, we can go ahead and one of you can count us down, and we can get started.
Carcy, go ahead.
Just a moment.
Once you're ready.
Give me a moment to get over to the starting screen. So, yeah, I'll be running Chris Original any %, and Hazeblade will be running Jill any % with door skip on Resident Evil Remake. We decided that this would be the closest race time wise. So yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. So Hazeblade gets to start playing the video game immediately, but I get to sit through a cutscene, which is great, which is awesome.
It's fine though, because while
I don't really gotta do much, just be big chilling,
yep.
you know.
And while he's watching that cutscene, we're just going to be skipping all kinds of cutscenes. So it's everything that happens in the remake. We just skip all of that because as speedrunners we don't have time. But unfortunately for Carcy, not having the option to skip the cutscenes. I reckon that the game would be so much shorter if you could skip the cutscenes. Like how many minutes of cutscenes are in the game even? I don't even know for the OG.
Well, for reference, the DS version is more or less a remake of the original game, but it carries over like a lot of the original event code and whatnot. It does allow you to skip cutscenes and doors as well. And the average completion time for a speedrun of that is about half an hour or so. Whereas Chris any % on PlayStation would probably be like about an hour.
And while Carcy is still watching that cutscene, we are already grabbing some key items and we're on our way to the back cemetery, which we're going to be using to grab the sword key. And that's going to start opening up some of these doors over here so that we can actually start, tracking down STARS members, watching well, we're not going to watch them die because we're going to skip all those cutscenes, but, in traditional speedrun fashion here. But we're looking at, obviously, Resident Evil games, so there's going to be a large amount of examining items and such things as that to uncover what lies beyond the surface. And so that arrowhead there is removed. We're able to take that off, open up the tomb here, and we get to do another examine with this book, and ultimately we get ourselves a sword key. And I'll use this moment since this is actually one of the longest stair skates, not just in this game, but also in the entire RE franchise. And so this technique called stair skating, which unfortunately my controller decided that it didn't want to rebind my analog stick to stair skates, so I have to do my stair skates manually. But essentially all you're doing, it's a very simple technique, is you're using the tank controls and you're mashing the run button as fast as you possibly can and that just caused your character to basically just skate up or down the stairs. And so we do that. On the door skip version, you are allowed to rebind those skates to the analog, since a lot of people have reported like pain and stuff like that, having done stair skates for so long, myself included. And ultimately that allows you to save your wrist a little bit of stress by being able to do it on the analog. But like I said, my controller just decided that it doesn't want that today, so I'm doing my stair skates via manual mashing instead of rotating the stick.
You have to use the analog stick? You wimp. I for one am pro destroying my wrists.
I don't know how Pessy does it, honestly.
But anyway,
I don't know how he does it. Like,
he has a particular technique where he just like he actually uses his left hand, funny enough, to just like sort of like vibrate the controller upward against his thumb.
that'll do it.
Like I've never seen anything like it. I don't know. I mean, it works.
That it does.
But
I didn't mean to do that.
yeah. So playing as Chris, yeah, you need to play as Chris if you're playing the PlayStation version. You know, if you're trying to go for like the absolute fastest time, you know, the fastest category in PlayStation version, because Chris has like the fewest cutscenes, and most of these cutscenes involving Rebecca, you know, you just hit no, you just leave her in the mansion, so you just like never talk to Rebecca ever again, basically, beyond the piano.
I just ran into this house anyway, but
We have some more tech coming up if I can get it, which is quick shooting, which you have to find the frame. And I got faked out by the dog, which is cool. So now he's running in circles, but we did get a couple of quick shots off. You have to time it to a very specific frame, which there's a certain metronome tempo that I practiced, and I think it was 152 beats per minute, where you can get it pretty consistently. But doing so allows you to kill that dog a little bit faster, and I still, of course, botched it even with the proper tech. And that dog is also a jerk. Unlike in RE2, that dog is not free. He is pretty much the main reset point of Remake for Mansion 1 if you're going for record attempts. Because the shots that you fire deal a variable amount of damage in this game. So typically, if you get good luck, you can actually like decapitate the zombie dog. But if you get bad luck, then it takes forever to kill him. And then you just reset. Or you just take more damage.
I've only ever had that. I've only ever gotten that decap like maybe once, like
It's
ever.
so rare.
It's like an insanely low chance.
I think it's like 5%
But I've only ever had it
or
happen,
something, but
like, once
I've never
ever.
gotten it 5% of the time.
Is it?
Yeah, I think every
I really think that 5% is like way too generous.
yeah.
Because like I've run that game literally hundreds upon hundreds of times, and I've never had it happen once.
Yeah,
ever.
that's where I bat
until
an
like
eye.
until I just yeah, and it's like I wasn't even speed running when that happened.
Yeah. What's crazy, I don't remember who did the study on it, but there's like a percentage for every weapon to get a critical hit, which decapitates. And I don't remember what all of the percentages are, but I know the magnums are like by far the highest, and everything else kind of falls
yeah,
in
I mean,
line below
it's
that.
yeah, I mean it's information that's been kind of known since like the game came out, you know. So it's like handguns. Handguns are like 10%. Shotguns are 60%. Assault shotgun is 80%.
it's me,
Magnum is
Chris.
90%.
Barry's magnum is the
I think-
goat.
Well, Barry's Magnum is still like the same as far as decapitation goes, but it has like raw damage output of like
Can you play?
it just basically one shots everything, including the tyrant. So
Which we'll be seeing that here in a little while.
yeah.
Present time, we are going to kill some plants. Jill is not about protecting the environment when the environment is overrun with virus monsters.
You know a little something about virus monsters, right? Didn't you just kill a bunch of them just a few minutes ago before this?
Yeah. Indeed. I was just at Twitch Rivals for Back for Blood. We got second place.
My
We wiped a couple
interpretation
times, so
is off a
it
little.
things started to get scuffed pretty quick after that. But we did all right. We did all
May
right.
I practice for a while?
See? Just relax and
Yeah,
play.
second place in Twitch Rivals isn't bad at all. Anyway, so got to have Rebecca play the piano. In order to fast forward this event, generally all you need to do is go out into the main hall and come right back. But we're not doing that. We got to explore a pretty significant chunk of the mansion, so going to do that. There hasn't really been any like crazy tech in the RE1 run so far. Just waiting until now to get the handgun, because now I'm at the closest point to the handgun that doesn't just doesn't deviate far enough out of the way for me to for me to avoid picking it up, because I'm just like right there. So got it. Also, not unlocking any other doors. The fastest thing to do with the sword key is just put it away in the box. But about the only particularly difficult thing that happened was the zombie and the statue on the second floor above the dining room. Basically, every time you slash the zombie, it'll reorient its position towards you, and you just sort of keep doing that until it faces in a direction where it clears the statue, and then you just keep slashing it until it goes down, so that you're able to clear the aisle and push the statue. Otherwise, if you keep slashing him, then he'll body block the statue, and you have to keep stabbing until he's dead. By that time, the other zombie will catch up. It's not a good thing to have happen. I'm putting away the first aid spray, the sword key, and the Beretta, and picking up the chemical. Reason being, we want to use that first aid spray later and clear out our inventory. Chris only has 6 slots. Jill's got 8. It's like one might think that Jill would be the optimal way to run, just because she has like a weapon that one hits everything, but it's not really shall we say, oh shoot, I messed up. I was practicing I was practicing another Resident Evil game where opening the inventory was set to my circle button, but what I was trying to do was a trick called pause canceling, where you hit an enemy, and here, I'll do it like this. Okay, so pause, unpause, and then go. Basically, whenever you hit an enemy, it's stunned, and if you pause and unpause, then your character's animation returns to their neutral standing animation, allowing you to phase around them, like a phase around your opponent while it is stunned. So.
And I also messed up. I forgot the emblem, so I had to backtrack. But as Carsey was playing the piano, we were doing some other things. The remake, of course, in order to make things feel fresh for classic players, you do things in quite a different order. So we're doing the piano stuff a little bit later, but that's because we're actually just getting ready to wrap up the mansion here. We are opening up the grandfather clock now, which we'll use to grab the shield key. And after that, we are going to be saying farewell to our good friend Ripchard. He is going to succumb to his destiny at the jaws of Yon.
Okay. This isn't exactly the optimal way to dodge this zombie. I just do it this way because it's just how I've always done it. There's a riskier dodge that's like a second faster, but with all these cutscenes, I just don't really like resetting. I'm not going for world records anymore anyway. It doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, I just run 4 steps. I wait for the zombie to come out of the hallway there, and just run past him and put down the blue jewel, and gonna exit, and then we have to figure out what direction the zombie is moving. And once we do that, we are going to get him to commit to turning in a specific direction and merely go the opposite direction. Ah, shoot. Okay, I was a little too close. Wow, that was actually really close. Like I just shook him off like right in the nick of time. I feel like I'm probably gonna have to get an extra heal, unfortunately.
We're just pushing some statues, no big deal. And we're getting the rest of the masks. That tomb that we were in earlier requires 4 masks to reveal the answer, which the answer is an item that gets us out of the mansion. So we're grabbing the rest of the masks now. We've got a couple of puzzles to do to make that happen, a couple enemies to dodge. Nothing crazy really happening here, but we do have our first... some people consider him a boss, some people don't consider him a boss, but he is kind of like the first encounter, so to speak, in this game where it's just like a higher health pool than just like your standard zombies. So there are enemy types in this game, which we saw a little earlier, called Crimson Heads. Actually, I forgot my flame round, so I'm gonna have to go back. But they move faster than normal zombies. So what we're doing here is we're grabbing some flame rounds, not the kerosene. We're grabbing the flame rounds. Again, not the kerosene, because this game likes to pick up the wrong item whenever you run through. All right, so we're heading to that crypt again, though. So we have one more puzzle to do in the meantime. Fortunately, you can go through that door twice before the doorknob falls off. So very, very lucky me that I was able to do that. But we're going to flip these puzzles to the appropriate color. That'll give us the last mask. And conveniently enough, we're also going to get a shortcut right back to that crypt that we were at. So we don't even have to worry about backtracking too heavily here, since the mask is right here. We're going to unlock this door from the other side. And now we're back in the, I guess you would call it the backyard. The backyard cemetery.
What, you mean your backyard doesn't have a cemetery?
Nope. You know, funny enough, I don't even like... Well, I guess I should say growing up, like, my parents used to bury dogs in the backyard, you know? So I guess you could say at my parents' house, they have a backyard cemetery.
What is that?
Just putting masks where they're supposed to go. Nothing crazy here, but as soon as we put this in, we're going to go ahead and equip the grenade launcher and load the fire rounds, since the Crimson Head Elder just so happens to be very vulnerable to flame. And we're going to kill him very quickly. And you'll get to see a little bit of tech here. It's a pretty basic strat. It's just called, with shotguns, it's called pump cancel, but you can do it with the grenade launcher as well. And basically, as soon as you fire a round off, you just use the alt controls to move your character around, and it'll cancel out any sort of animation that would otherwise take place. And
Might I offer a suggestion to do it easier?
which is?
If you drop R1 and you press up on the D-pad, allows you to chain it a little faster, I think.
True. I've always just done it this way.
Yeah, it also works out. I mean, it also works out a lot better. Like, should you decide to try running real survival mode?
I've done real survival randos, and they are not pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, the very, very gnarly backbite from that zombie.
I just gotta make sure that okay.
So in the remake version of the game, we have an extra step that we have to take before we can go to the guest house. As Carsey will likely be experiencing here very, very shortly. The crank is just right here in the shed for him, so he's just gonna grab that and move on. But not me. I have to go all the way out to this cabin in the woods to get my crank. So it's gonna take a little bit longer.
I'm gonna go for a little bit of a risky dodge here. Actually, no, I'm not going to. It'll only cost me like 10 seconds, it's fine. So the faster way to do this would be to like hold back a step and then run past Yon and then just go grab the moon crest. But it is a little difficult to actually get a good dodge on the way out. So what I did was I just waited for him to hiss at me, and then I ran. Get the moon crest, and then we're just going to hang out by this I-beam over here until he's gonna try to track me. And we want him to bunch up over here. And then his pathing is going to force him this direction, and he will not bite me while he's like going that way. So just taking advantage of a slight pathing bug to get around him. And there, that's done. Getting around Yon in the original game is actually very, very difficult. Just because his hitbox is double wide surprise.
Very jank.
Well, I mean,
I just always find it
at least he doesn't have teeth in the back of his head like Yon does in the remake.
true. I always find it funny the way Yon kind of like twists and coils around. Like, it's just really funny to watch. Like, everything in the first game is just like, I think in terms of like things just not aging well at all. Just watching the game in general is just always full of memes and good times.
Oh, come on, there we go. Yeah, puzzle here is quite a lot simpler, you know. Nothing really to report, just push statues over vents and leave. There are significantly fewer events around these parts in general. Gonna tap right on the D-pad, get around this guy. As soon as he starts turning around, basically. One trick to dodging zombies that I like to take advantage of a lot is I just go one way and then kind of murk another, because depending on what direction you approach the zombie, you can generally get the zombie to turn either clockwise or counterclockwise, and then just sort of use that to your advantage. Pretty simple.
All right, so
It's puzzle, cradle to grave, picture of a newborn baby, picture of an infant, picture of a lively boy, picture of a young man, picture of a tired middle-aged man,
I think I'm approaching that
picture of a bold,
that part
old man.
like IRL, the tired middle-aged man. I think that's very soon.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. Don't you know that your 30s are your new 20s?
Oh, is that so?
Well, I mean, that's what popular culture would have you believe lately.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like also popular culture, people that like in general like fall in line with that don't have kids. And I feel like the moment you have kids, you're just old.
Oh.
And my two kids, I'm sure in not too long from now, will have me know very, very clearly. They'll remind me of how old I am all the time. My son is already getting to the point where he's teasing me.
Oh.
You wouldn't think a 4-year-old would have, you know, the wits of somebody that could make me feel ashamed of myself for being old.
I mean, it is. I mean, I'm sure kids are, you know, pretty humbling experience. Like, I actually just moved out of New York a little while ago and moved back to my hometown in Florida. And visited an old friend that I went to school with, and he's got like 2 twin girls now. And I don't know, it was just really, it's just really strange to think about. Like, you know, not too long ago, you know, me and this dude were in high school, and now he's got kids, and they're like, you know, they're playing Fortnite, they're playing Minecraft, and you know, just going through like all the, you know, like this how do I put it? Just, you know, the whole experiencing, like, you know, the first bits of life thing, and you know,
It's definitely, I can only say from a parent's perspective, it's definitely like you see a lot of yourself in your kids. And like when my son experiences things for the first time, like we got him a Switch for Christmas last year. And he loves Animal Crossing. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, this kid is like, I mean, at the time he was 3. Like, you would never think that like a 3-year-old would understand like the layers of Animal Crossing. But like, then again, I think about me when I was 3 and I was playing Crash Bandicoot, Resident Evil, like, you know, like games that I definitely shouldn't have been playing when I was 3, but like, I mean, I grew up like watching my dad and my brothers play Resident Evil. It was only just natural for me to like pick up the controller every once in a while to do it. Like, and Resident Evil 3 ended up taking up like half of my childhood.
wow. How old were you when you played your first Resident Evil game?
Probably 3 or 4. But my dad would just tell me that the blood was ketchup, so I wouldn't think anything of it, you know? Be like, yeah.
What was it, like Resident Evil? Was it Resident Evil 1 in 1996?
Yeah. I think it was like 97, 98 maybe, when like I remember it being played. But like I moved around a lot when I was a kid, so I remember it based on locale. And so like based on the locale, I can put closer to it an accurate representation of the year. So it would have been like,
You're not even 30 yet, are you, Hazeblade?
20. How old am I now? Good Lord. I'm officially in my mid to late 20s, 27. I feel like I'm like 50 though. I know, I'm like a baby speedrunner, I know. Everybody tells me that. I'm like, at some point, how long is it gonna be until like...
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I got tied up there. So these zombies over here, this is actually like one of the choke points for the Chris any percent in RE1. And I tried to go into the bathroom first to put myself to a closer position, but the behavior of the second zombie is going to it's gonna change a little bit. It's basically the longer you're in a room, the more predictable or the more unpredictable the zombies get. So, you know, a zombie could react early, it could aggro early, it could aggro late, but you know, the earlier it aggroes, of course, the sooner it's going to cut off your egress. Yeah, one other thing too is, you know, because this is the first Resident Evil game, they didn't add, or they didn't have things like being able to shove one zombie into another zombie and, you know, be able to knock those zombies back. So getting stun locked by zombies and dying was a pretty common occurrence in this game. And it's only worse when you don't have a gun to eliminate them. Like throughout the first set of the game, I mean, like a very common question that is asked in regards to the Chris any percent run is this a knife run? And the answer is only to a certain extent. The knife just happens to be like the best weapon up to Yawn 2. Otherwise, it's just used for like purely utilitarian purposes. Sorry, I gotta count this in my head. 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. Did I push this? Oh, of course I did. I absolutely messed that up. How did I do that? Okay.
I'm seeing on the
Can I salvage this?
I'm seeing on the preview,
No, what the... Oh, man.
Parsi's pushing the
Okay,
boxes as
yeah, I
I'm
gotta-
leaving that area. We're in the same room.
Or set the stupid room. That's... Yeah. I'm just not getting back into speedrunning. Like for the last like couple of years or so, like the last like I don't know 2-3 years or so, I'd been speedrunning. Well, not speedrunning, but doing no damage runs mostly, and it hasn't always been Resident Evil 1. And I only started derusting this game again the other day, so. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. But yeah, back to the knife. Yeah, so you're using the knife for a pretty significant portion of the game, and then close to the end, you're going to use the handgun. I mean, you know, it's there isn't like a whole lot of time difference between a knife run in this game and like just a standard any percent speed run. If you're doing, you know, if you're doing it all for speed, it's like about the same. Probably give or take like 30 seconds or so.
We've got another boss fight here. We are at Plant 42. We're gonna grab this flame launcher again here. And we're gonna hope that we get the early shot. Nice, we did get the early shot, so we don't have to wait for the next bulb. That's a few seconds time save there if you've picked up this strat. This is a relatively new strat, if I recall. I remember so for a lot of people that don't know this, REHD was my first ever actual speed game. I tried to speedrun Bloodborne before this. It wasn't happening, all right? So I decided after doing some research and learning about like what GDQ was and stuff, I came across Pessimism's run from a few years ago at, I believe it was SGDQ. And so I studied that, and I ultimately learned how to speedrun REHD. And I know when I was running it back then, that wasn't a strategy, but now you can actually get a quick shot there to kill Plant 42 before the bulb goes back in after the like little mini cutscene there. And yeah, it's a really clean strat when done properly. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to. You basically just pop off the shot like the moment you hear the sound effect of like the bulb opening. But it's always like the same like time interval that the bulb is going to open. It's like always opens and closes basically the exact same time every time. So you can
we almost got poisoned.
Set a watch to it.
We almost got poisoned. It was so close. So we were just passing through that little walkway there, and there's a snake that's pretty much guaranteed to poison, and thank goodness he didn't poison me. That was close. I got hit, but I didn't get poisoned.
Yeah, it's like a 50% chance to get poisoned. I mean, this is pretty tough line. Pretty tough line to move, actually. I'm grabbing a couple of herbs here because I took a bunch of extra hits that I wasn't supposed to, because like Plant 42, the Plant 42 fight with Chris, you know, like doing it knife only is completely random. They didn't really balance this game for knife only. I mean, it's doable, but a lot of the enemies just kind of hit you whenever they feel like it. Well, I mean, by a lot of the enemies, I really just mean Plant 42 and Yawn, actually. You know, you can still beat them, but you just kind of have to have a larger health pool than they do, and that means just have a bunch of items.
You may be asking yourself, Hazeblade, why did you kill those hunters? This is a speed run. So this hallway is toxic. Those hunters can behave very strangely, but when they're together, sometimes they're just like really dumb. But unfortunately, I got bad RNG where the hunter on the first floor jumped early and cut off my path. And so it's just generally considered safer That's why I picked up the extra grenade rounds earlier so I could spare them to kill those hunters, because sometimes they can actually stun lock you and then they have a one-hit kill mechanic, and unfortunately if you get hit by that, it's pretty much over. I mean, it is over because I didn't make a backup save for this.
All right. So going into plant 42 here, basically what I do is I'm going to start running to the left, provided I don't get hit by a tentacle here, like right off the bat. Okay, we're good. Sometimes the tentacles will group up, other times they won't, and sometimes, you know, there'll even be like a tentacle just kind of hits Chris from like a million miles away. So just got to try to go somewhere where the tentacles aren't going to hit me, and I don't think that this is going to be the place. So yeah, you just. I mean, like every so often, you know, you'll just like run to like, you know, the magic spot and hopefully plant 42 doesn't hit you. But the tentacles are not going to be grouped up whenever plant 42 comes back down. But, you know, usually if you stand over here, there's a pretty low chance of getting hit whenever plant 42 comes back. But, you know, yeah, it's none such luck. Never any such luck.
Speaking of luck, we got good luck in the basement. That zombie actually lunged by the elevator.
Wow, he never lunges.
I know. It's so rare. We're gonna grab these acid rounds because Jan doesn't like acid, and we're gonna be fighting Jan very soon. It seems like that zombie lunges more frequently on Chris than with Jill. I don't know, like maybe I just haven't ran Chris enough to get bad RNG that many times. But it seems like when you're going past that zombie right before the basement elevator, on Chris he dodges, or he lunges like all the time, and with Jill he like never lunges. But Chris is my dude, so you know.
Wesker!
Maybe that's just how it is sometimes.
Chris, you're alive.
My words exactly. Where's Jill? Aren't you with Jill?
One advantage that I have over Hazeblade right now, though, is I can hydrate whenever I want.
This is true. There's like no downtime in this run at all.
I see.
Got to get my water while I can. I'm an old man after all, aren't I?
If we stay here, all of us will end up dead.
Perhaps. Oh, apparently Jan decided to just completely dodge my grenade. That's cool.
We have to complete this mission. Whether
Very
we
glad
escape
I picked
or
up
stay
extra
in loop for
grenades.
Jill, we don't have many bullets left, and we can't even protect ourselves. We are still in trouble.
I don't know. Are you going for the?
Chris,
Are you going for the grenade strats on Black Tiger?
One more time.
I'm kind of just winging Black Tiger, and we'll just see what happens. I got 6 grenades. I think we'll be all right. I think you only need 5.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean 6 grenades is more than enough.
Actually, I think you can do it in 4 if you get the acid RNG, where the acid breaks down the web.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, actually, I thought there were 6 webs to chop through. And it's like 5 grenades otherwise.
That might be right. I honestly don't remember. I just shoot until the web's gone.
Yeah, pretty sure that was it.
I'm just like, oh hey, you web.
All right,
goodbye.
so we're going to swap out the armor key for the first aid spray. I'm going to grab this other first aid spray here. Reason being, I'm already in danger, and I want to take the other first aid spray for safety after Jan, because Jan is the only other thing in this run that is going to do a highly randomized amount of damage. Fortunately for me, I also don't have to deal with really annoying hunters, because they only hit with their left hand. I mean, they're all left-handed, so I just got to run the other way. Forehead.
Using up the rest of the helmet key here. I say the rest of it, I just mean that the key is useless now. We've got a little juke that's gonna happen here. We got it, nice. We just completely fake that zombie out, and we're out of the room before he even finishes the animation. That's what you wanna see every time you go in that room. And And now we're about to go head over and do a bunch of stuff that Carsey does not have to do in his run. We are heading to the mines, and the first half of the mine Carsey has to do. The second half of the mine, Carsey's they're just gonna go straight to the labs from the mines and not have to backtrack to the mansion. So this is where things are gonna get a little interesting watching these run side by side.
Yeah, but see, I'm already like pretty significantly behind because I'm actually playing this on a PS1. Being that I just moved, I actually do not currently have access to my PS2. Otherwise, I'd probably be a little bit more caught up.
What?
I could have played this on emulator, but
it's a little bit broken.
the thing is, I'm not a Philistine, so
I'll take it with me.
You just run into the edge of that walkway there. There's like a very specific path you can take where the snakes will miss every time. And that's what we're going to do, because God forbid I get poisoned. If that happens, this run it's not over. There's just, it's a little while before we run into any blue herbs. So it's preferable that we not get poisoned. There is a blue herb up here, but we would have to detour, which would increase the amount of time we have to spend hanging out with these dogs. And as I mentioned before, unlike RE2 Remake, the dogs are not free in this game. If you dilly-dally at all, they will find you, and they will hunt you down and make meat of you. I might have missed it.
so after getting past the first hunter, I'm gonna go in here, grab the Doom book, go in here, go up the stairs, and instead of getting sandwiched in between the Binding of Isaac and Judith beheading Holofernes, we're going to go fight Jan directly.
Carsey, I may have missed it. Where did you move to?
Florida.
Florida. Very nice. Very nice. Actually, I should say I'll never move to Florida ever because of just how excruciatingly hot it is there in the summer. But this time of year, very nice.
I mean, you know, Pacific Northwest would be the goal, but I'm trying to move to Tokyo.
Very nice.
Anyhow. So the easier strat would be to use the Beretta, but the faster strat is to just simply put Chris's body parallel with Jan. Easiest way to do that is to just run this way. And basically, Chris's, like the knife will just keep running in parallel to Jan's body while he's got his head up like this. So as long as Chris's right side is facing Jan, we just get to deal a bunch of hits. This is good RNG, very good RNG. Okay, that was good. That was real good. I actually have no idea what my health is at now, so we're just gonna wing it. It's all good. If you're okay with anagrams, you can move to Kyoto instead. Kyoto doesn't even have the same kanji. I'm not sure I would call it an anagram. But I guess close enough.
Doing a convenient menu here to get the emblem key, since we try to optimize our menuing pretty heavily when you're going for competitive times in any RE game, and this is just happens to be the most convenient time to actually go and combine the jewel with the box and then solve the puzzle. The puzzle itself, kind of an interesting puzzle to watch in like a casual playthrough, but from a speedrun standpoint, actually like all of the pieces just like fall into line after you tab over to the third piece. It just like, when it shifts to the next piece, it goes right in the order that you need. So it allows us to solve that puzzle very quickly.
So gonna pause cancel this guy.
Feels bad. I got poisoned by Black Tiger.
Oh, well, I mean, blue herbs are right there. But I guess you're I guess you're in caution, aren't you?
I'm in fine. I brought a green herb for safety, so we'll be all right. We're just gonna be moving a little bit slower. So, yeah, when you get poisoned in this game, in RE1, you have the luxury of in any state just running at normal speed without any slowed animations or anything. But if you get poisoned in this game, even if you're in fine, you will take on the caution animation as far as running goes, which is really slow.
Yeah, there's not
super
very
slow,
many.
but-
Yeah, there's not very many Resident Evil games that do not lower your foot speed when you are below fine. All right, so yeah, this one gonna need a little bit of serious time here because this is actually a pretty difficult dodge. There we go, got it. So we got to turn to the left one step, and as soon as that happens, we got to like jam up and right. It's just timing intensive. If you're off by like a frame, then the zombie that just comes down the stairs will grab you, and I don't like getting grabbed by him. Hold up, squeeze by this dude. Except, oh, okay, almost.
Can't remember if that first aid box outside this room has a green and blue in it, or if it's a FAS. I don't remember.
It's a FAS.
Crap. I don't think the blue herb is until Lisa Trevor. Like
No. There's blue herbs right after Black Tiger. Like in the room where you put down the flamethrower, they're like right there. They're just on the other side.
Right,
yeah, they're
on the other side of the room.
just on
where
the other
safe
side of the
room is
hallway.
in your version of the game.
Yeah.
I forgot about these. Yes, very nice.
Yeah. There you go. You're welcome.
Ah,
Sportsmanship.
Carsey bless. All right, there we go. Back in it. I don't know why I just totally forgot about those herbs. By the way, we're officially at the part where I got to do all the stuff that Carsey doesn't have to do. So we're heading back to this like elevator shaft room, and we have a puzzle to do that Carsey doesn't have to do. And then the whole section after this is all remake stuff, which personally, as a remake fan, I appreciate that they added and expanded beyond the original game. So pretty spooky section too, because there's a little surprise waiting for us down there that you guys aren't going to see because we're going to be juking the whole time. Actually, you might see her. We might go for the risky jukes. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling when we get down there. I only have a green herb on me, so I'm not trying to get stun locked out of my run here. All right, there it is. There she is. I'll take that one because it's free. And then I'm gonna grab this red herb just so I can feel the full. We took a little unexpected damage earlier with that back bite with the zombie, and then the poison ticked us down a little bit more. So all around good decision to just top off here because Lisa hurts. When she hits you, it hits you for like 70% of your health per hit. And if she hits you twice, you're dead.
Lisa is pretty awful.
She's a run killer for sure. Maybe not in. She's not a run killer really in this part too badly, but the next part and the final part featuring Ms. Lisa Trevor is definitely run killer mode if you get toxic RNG, which it happens more often with Chris than with Jill. So I'm feeling a little bit better about that. But all right, I'm gonna do the safe line here. So basically, the way Lisa Trevor works in this room is she'll spawn in whichever way you decide to go. So there's a juke strat where you just pretend like you're going the one way, she'll spawn, and then you go the other way and leave. So that's what I did. It's only like 4 seconds slower to do it that way. But it guarantees that you won't get hit by her when you go through there. So.
Yep. Basically, you're basically tricking the game into. You're basically tricking the game into. Yeah. You thought I was going that way. You idiot.
You must not know that I'm a speedrunner.
Little known fun fact. Did you know that the first recorded speedruns for Resident Evil 2 were in 1998?
I did not know that, but knowing how poppin' GoldenEye was back in the day, it's not surprising.
Something like that. But like the first like actual recorded speedruns, like what they used to do before the proliferation of online video was the strategy guide companies in Japan. They would actually have whole time attack sections, and they actually like drew out maps with all the dodge routes and everything. It's quite wild.
Oh wow, yeah, that I did not know.
Yeah,
Right.
no, it's like the official Japanese Resident Evil 2 strategy guide. You know, this was published in 1998. Like, it had like full-on speedrun routes. There was even frame data for like all of the animations. It was really wild.
That is very wild.
Yeah, it wasn't on VHS. Like, it was just a screenshot of the final screen, but they still had all the dodge routes. So it's like, you know, it does, you know, it's like knowing what we know now. It does, like, I would say that, you know, putting like a report in the back of the book actually does make it a credible form of record. Just probably not one that would be recognized by today's standards.
Right. I don't know if you saw, it was last year, I think, Guinness got in on the speedrun game. I don't know if you saw a bunch of people on the pages. I know 7 Ray D was in there, Orchlan for some RE2 stuff, but they actually started going through SRC and pulling like popular categories, and they actually published speedrunners in Guinness Book of World Records last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the first time Guinness has like published like stuff that they just like kind of scraped off of like speedrun.com. They just kind of do that. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Trey actually bought the book just so he could like put it up in his background somewhere. I don't know if he has it in his background, but I think he did buy the book. I mean, hey, you're credited in there, you know? Buy it all you want.
Well,
I would expect them to send me one if they're putting my name in there. I'm just kidding. All right, so now we're finally getting back on track here with the mainline stuff. All that extra crap we did was literally just a giant detour to get a silly stone ring, which we're gonna put in the back of this gate that's been here since the beginning of the game. And then you just have this magic revelation that, hey, maybe we can combine this all together. Wait, where's my metal object? Where did I put it? Whoops. Oh, I probably should go, you know, open the emblem key door. Fun.
oh,
That's a little bit of backtracking. Good thing there's a shortcut.
gosh, maybe if we're lucky, we might even get to the lab at the exact same time.
It could happen. It could happen. But I have to run with a nitro compound. Sorry, walk, mostly, but also run.
Nah, even with door skips, even with door skips, it's going to be like significantly faster than the PlayStation version.
True. This is true. There's my metal object. That's 2 key items I've forgotten in this run so far. I also forgot the grenade launcher, but I was able to route it back in without any time loss, so that was...
Let's see if I can't do this. So what we're going to do is... Oh, it is a little far away, isn't it? Wow, the flamethrower is like kind of worthless, isn't it? Dang, I should have just let Jan melt the stupid web. That was terrible.
All right, now here's where the run can die. Because if Lisa gets any ideas and decides to step off early, I am dead. There's a chance that I can juke out of it, but it's very slim. So we're in our final confrontation here with Lisa, and since this is any percent, we are not giving Barry his gun back. And we definitely do not want the same fate as our man Barry here. I'm doing a little bit of a safety strat because I don't trust myself here at all. Let's see what she's gonna do. Oh, she's running. She is angry. All right, we're good. We got it.
Congrats.
It's very rare that she'll actually start sprinting, but I took a safe line as she actually started sprinting at me. So the optimal way of doing this fight is actually to get her to do a swiping attack at you and you dodge it, and she ends up standing right next to the platform, and then you can use Barry's Magnum to shoot her off of the platform. And then what that does is it actually saves, I think it's like 12 seconds or something, because you don't have to watch the cutscene where she grabs her mother's skull and jumps off the platform. But I did not get the pickup for the Magnum right away, and I didn't want to risk taking too long there, because if she hits you at all while you're near the ledge, you'll fall off and it's a one-hit kill. So I didn't want to risk that. So I took a little bit of a safe line there, and because of that, she was active a little bit longer, so I lost some time. But the fact that the run didn't die there is all we need. We're officially in the labs.
Yeah, I just got to take a moment to get a blue herb.
Did Black Tiger poison you as well?
Yeah. I mean, there was a reason behind it, though. I was experimenting with the flamethrower. Usually I just let him go ahead and melt the stupid web, but I didn't actually remember if using the flamethrower would have been faster in that room or not, but very clearly it is not. I don't know. I feel like there's fewer webs in the director's cut version of the game, but I'm not playing the director's cut. I'm playing the original.
Very secure Umbrella here, allowing their employees to have 3 character passwords. Wonder all of their, files would have gotten leaked,
They should have used Basic 64. I don't know, is that the joke? Like, that's like supposed to be like really, really weak encryption, isn't it?
I don't even know. I was so young back in this day. I don't even know what the go-to security suite was back in the late 90s. All I know is nobody had it. Which is why now in 2021, we're still having problems with cybersecurity.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that Umbrella just stores all of its passwords in plain text.
There we go. I wanted to show you guys how amazing this Magnum is, but my first shot with Barry's insanely good Magnum I didn't even get decapitation RNG on the most powerful Magnum in the game.
Yeah,
Didn't
it's
even
9 out of 10
decapitate.
chance, but it'll still kill a zombie in one shot. The only
Yeah.
thing is, it has a chance of becoming a Crimson Head later. Just probably not in door skip category, because the Crimson Head, that particular Crimson Head, is time based, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's already starting to turn, but if I remember correctly, like every run I've ever killed him in, without the decapitation, it's always... I've never seen him come back as a Crimson Head ever. If he does, I'm probably going to poop my pants. Because it will have never happened to me before, ever.
Yeah, it's like 100% not going to happen.
If it happens, though. So we're carrying the nitro compound. So there actually is a rhythm to this. You want to take 4 steps on normal mode, followed by 3 walking steps. And that will ensure that the nitro compound does not explode in your pocket. All right, he didn't reanimate. We're good. Oh, that's right. We can just... I'm habitually going into my inventory to use it. I forgot. It's one of the very few key items in the game that you don't actually have to go into your inventory to use. It treats it like it's a door key for whatever reason.
I don't know. Probably because they just kind of expect the player to just be like really freaked out
at this point. All right, we're getting the elevator power turned on, and we're gonna go confront the ultimate life form.
Huh.
Not gonna lie, I don't love that spider zombie thing running behind you. Not a fan of that.
The Chimera.
Probably. I
Yeah,
don't know.
those enemies are very, very interesting. So their attack pattern is relatively consistent, not all the time, but relatively. And so they're easy enough to dodge, but yeah, they can definitely get you going if you're not ready for it. All right, 1 shot to drop the tyrant. We're all set there.
Chimeras are more plentiful and also a lot more difficult to dodge. You just have to run at them at weird angles and kind of mess up their hit detection so they can't get you.
Get ready to signal Brad for extraction here. We swipe that key from Wesker. Brad's gonna come on the radio and say, hey, we're running out of fuel and Jill sandwiches. So if you want any, you need to give me a sign, and we are about to do that. We're gonna drop the fuse in the elevator. We're gonna skip the cutscene, and then we're going to just like watch Jill ride in an elevator for 14 seconds. Or however long. I think it's 14. No, it's not 14. I think it's 12. Maybe less. I don't remember. It's a long time, and it's awkward. All right, and that is GG.
Grats.
Thank you.
So,
Chris, as my subordinate,
just gonna chill out, you know, wait for this cutscene. Maybe one day it'll be finished.
You were formerly with Umbrella.
Maybe one day I will complete the video game.
Since when have
Start
you
with a
been
cutscene, end with a cutscene. That's what we like to see.
traitor to the stars?
now you're wrong. I was formerly with Umbrella, yes, but now I'm prepared to face anything, even getting rid of you vigilante stars.
Now, the worst possible situation has occurred. The failure of the experiment created a virus, a biological weapon, polluting the
Best
entire
cutscene
lab.
right here.
No, the worst happened with the tyrant.
Is this the one where Wesker goes,
My stars,
"Stop it"?
because of
You killed them
Yeah.
with your own hands. Did you kill Enrico?
Enrico? I'll destroy the stars myself, including you. The fact is, Umbrella does not know what to do with the tyrant.
Wesker
virus.
doesn't like being picked on.
We have orders to blow up this laboratory, and it's not a bad idea. But I think we should save this important research for future use.
You think you can disappear with such important material?
Would you like to see it? Come with me. I'm sorry for my lack of manners, but I'm not used to escorting men. Now, walk.
So, yep. Any cutscene where Wesker is escorting you into the boss room, force unequips your gun.
That's right. This is the ultimate life form. Tyrant. Chris?
So as soon as the fight starts, we gotta equip the Beretta.
Wesker, you're
Really, the whole reason that we have the Beretta at all is
this
for the
is your
Tyrant.
savior? You say this failure is your savior?
You could make sure yourself whether Tyrant is a failure or not. Go to hell. Jill will join you too. What? Don't come this way! No!
Wesker
Yeah.
just casually getting pwned by a tyrant.
So here's the
You can't.
here's what I'm going to attempt to do. I'm gonna try to get the Tyrant hung up on Wesker's body here. Is it? Nope, nope. No, oh, okay, there we go. Hopefully he doesn't correct course. Yep, there we go. So I can just chain a bunch of quick shots up. No. Oh, shoot. Just kidding. Oh. Oh! Oh, never mind. I thought I was onto something. Okay, there. So, yeah, it takes like what? The extra 2. So, yeah, 11 bullets to take down Tyrant. And we gotta unlock the door manually, and then we can just run straight to the heliport.
I really appreciate that the dead body had collision. That's very good.
Well, I mean, it's very, very disrespectful for the Tyrant to step over a dead human body. I mean, you know, so
You're right.
put put collision on it. You know, it's like, even though the Tyrant just absolutely violated Wesker, it's like, you know, do you really want to, you know, step over his body? You know, just disrespect him even further.
No, you absolutely don't. You're right.
So, yeah. Zombies, whenever they're like close to railing or stairs, they vomit. Reason being, if a zombie grabbed you when you were like close to said railing, then there is a chance that it might like force you through the railing or something like that. So that's why they made them vomit. Because grabs in video games do very strange things. You might have even seen like plenty of sequence breaks in video games happen as a result of grabs clipping you through like objects and stuff like that.
This
So if I was playing this on PS2, this run would be sub-hour. The game timer ends after this cutscene fades out. And time.
Nice. GG.
GG's, grats.
All right.
So we're going to take a quick break so everyone can get up and stretch and refill their waters and whatnot. But then we're going to come right back with the same runners, and we're going to run it back with Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 2 Remake. So please stick around, and we will be back in a little bit. Welcome back, everyone. Before we get going on Resident Evil 2, just a few more announcements. We have launched the GQ Some of Best Segments YouTube channel. This is a highlight channel with videos from the main channel and just highlight reels for main events and hotfix. Speaking of YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube right now, why don't you come join us live on twitch.tv/gamesdonequick. Most nights we start at 7 p.m. Eastern. And while you're here, if you could subscribe or use your bits, these help support Hotfix and allow for future broadcasts. So with that, we will go ahead and get started on the Resident Evil 2 portion of the night. So runners, whenever you're ready, go ahead and count us down.
All right. So I will be running Leon A, and Hazeblade will be running Claire second. Are you ready to go?
I am.
Was that a yes?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Wait. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. I just paused my cutscene.
All right. So first up,
Freeze! Who are you?
yeah, the remake of Resident Evil 2, completely different game overall. You know, there's like some similarities, some set pieces, but you know,
Sorry about
it's a little difficult to compare the two.
What's going on in this town?
Aside from
I don't have a clue. By the time I
different things happen in different orders, certainly.
The city was infested with zombies.
Certainly, there's no crazy gas station segment.
True that. We are, well, in B scenario, we're just going to skip all of that. So on the B scenario compared to A, if you're playing Remake, also, we're really, really hoping that I can just run through. Oh, I got the dodge. Very nice. Okay, that is a very scuffed courtyard, but that could have gone so much worse. This is like a very heavy reset point if you are running this category competitively. Shout outs to Failmore, by the way, has put a ton of time into routing this category. But yes, Courtyard has a lot of RNG. And fortunately, although we got relatively bad RNG, we were able to save it because this game has a very, very uncommon circumstance, unlike RE3 where you can actually control it, where you can dodge. And so what happens is if a zombie grabs you seemingly at an angle, there's a chance that instead of getting tackled to the ground, your character will actually just push the zombie off and you won't take the damage. So that's actually what happened there, and it's the only reason why we didn't just get absolutely wrecked in that first segment there. But Claire B, pretty challenging category, especially if you're running no knife, which I did at GDQ Hotfix on Monday. So you should definitely check that run out. But ultimately, the main differences here between what you would find in the first scenario, or the A scenario, if you're referring to classic, is that you're not starting at the gas station. You're starting pretty much already at the RPD. It's presumed that it takes place about 30 to 45 minutes after the first scenario kicks off at the RPD. So we're taking a little bit of a different route than you would normally take in the first scenario, and ultimately it's going to mean that we have a lot less cutscenes in the early game, but ultimately Claire's route is pretty much the same with limited exceptions at the beginning and the end of the game. So although it's a pretty fun category, as I mentioned before, very challenging, and definitely kind of pushes the boundaries in terms of skill curve compared to the A scenarios.
So leading up to the RPD, if you don't collect any items leading up to the RPD, then Brad Vickers' zombie will spawn in the lower path to the police, well, in the RPD main courtyard. And in doing so, zombies do not spawn in the courtyard, so just able to go, just run.
So we got bad RNG, and Karen here decided to camp the door. One of the main reasons why this category is so challenging is that the zombie positions are very, very unforgiving in this category. And it's very, very quickly, especially considering that with Claire, you move faster in caution. So when zombies have incredibly cheap spawn points, and you're in caution for the entirety of the game, you can see how quickly that can add up to be a very bad time if you're teetering between caution and danger on the regular. The purpose, of course, is because we want to be able to move faster, but in order to do that properly, we need to take as little damage as possible. So
after running past a few zombies, gonna push the statue twice, push it behind, and push it over to that pedestal right there, and then just go directly through the door. It's actually faster to just solve this puzzle in chunks and just, you know, kind of go back and forth solving it.
Leon!
So the
It's good to see you're still among the living.
the fastest version of the game overall in real time would be the GameCube version, because you can just straight up skip cutscenes, but you can't skip doors. Like, that's in real time. GameCube version doesn't like count loads, doesn't count loads either. But the PC version does allow you to skip doors. In the case of the PC version, though, you have to skip doors with very specific timing. If you don't, then you get a slightly longer black screen, and about like 0.75 seconds is added on. But usually my timing mnemonics for going through these doors are either, depending on if there's music or not, I either do the first frame of the door opening animation, like, you know, the knob turning, or I just wait for the music to fade out completely. Push that 8.5 times. Well, it's not really 8.5 times. Yeah, it's about 8.5 times. More like 8 1/3 times. The jewel falls, but we're not going to pick that up yet because we're coming through this hallway one more time. We're just going to pick that up on the way over. I usually like to raise my gun like halfway here because it turns us towards the zombie and gives the zombie ample time to move out of the way so that we can just hold up on the D-pad and just move straight past it. It's a pretty simple little setup for getting behind him. I mean, most runners just like run straight past him, which is of course faster, but he also has a really, really high chance of biting, so that's why I use that setup. I've always been more fond of consistency strats for things like that. You know, it's like even if you like lose a second here and there, it's fine.
We just killed the first boss. That was G1. Very fast fight on pretty much any category of this game, unless you're running like handgun only or no knife, because the knife in this game is insanely, insanely powerful. So very often, and in fact with every boss, the knife is very heavily utilized just because of the fact that it's bound to frame rate. And for most speedruns of this game, it's capped to either 120 or 60 FPS to prevent it from being a pay-to-win situation. But ultimately, general rule of thumb is more FPS, more knife damage, hence why Birkin just melts at 120 FPS. We'll be doing some more boss melting here in a little while once we get to G2, but we've got some RPD2 action to do. We've got to go grab the key card because that cutscene we just skipped was Sherry being kidnapped by Chief Irons, who is very, very creepy in this game. And you find out in a casual playthrough of this game, reading the files and stuff, just how disgusting this man really is.
Well, it's like in the old game, he was just a murderous psychopath who liked to taxidermize people, but in the remake of the game, he is a deranged psychopath who taxidermizes people and does horrible things to children, so.
Yeah, not doing much to improve the record there, so. Some tech there to manip these liquors. Liquors are very camera shy. So when you do some technique there with the camera, which involves looking away and at them at certain times, they actually will change their pathing to react because they are scripted to be able to like leap in front of you and stuff if you're trying to just like dash away. But we can actually kind of use that to our advantage to get them to sort of like slow down and not move to certain places, and so that's how we were able to get through all of those liquors without taking any damage. I also totally forgot a pouch, so we had some menu memes there at the very beginning of the run, but I should be able to swing by later and pick up that pouch. And I did pick up an extra one right after G1 just to make sure we would have plenty of inventory space.
So what I did there just now, you can see me visibly shake my head because I pressed the button too early and got the long door skip because I pressed it way too early. So you can't just like mash on these doors. You gotta wait for, there's first frame, open the door, wait for fade out. We're good. I'd say it's like maybe halfway through the music fade out is about right, which usually happens like about maybe 1.75 seconds or so. So for this dodge, we're just going to hold up and left and just like squeeze in between these guys.
I've actually got to make a trip back to the box here because of this, again, lack of inventory. And I did pick up an extra flash grenade because I'm not running with what we call the SRT, which stands for speedrunning tool. And basically what that does is it allows us to bypass certain things and rather be able to look into the game sort of and see health pools and such. I'm not using that for this run today, and so I am grabbing an extra flash grenade here so that when I go up against G2 later, if things aren't going according to plan, I can flash grenade and get out of what would otherwise be a very, very unfortunate situation. We'll be picking the items up there a little bit later. Again, if I had picked up that pouch earlier that I had forgotten about, I would have enough inventory space to do this, but that slight mistake is going to cost me some time, as I had to go back to the item box there and bank that item, and then I won't lose any time on those items, though, since I'll be able to pick them up when we leave here. I won't have as many key items in my inventory. Free up some space here in a little while once we get through some of these keys. And you didn't see him in RPD 1, but in the B scenario, you actually will trigger Mr. X after leaving the STARS office. But since we go the opposite way, you won't really see him at all. But this is his trigger point in the first scenario. And he's pretty easy to dodge. If you kind of aim at him while he's a couple paces away, it's relatively straightforward to have him do that sort of like lunging punch attack, and you can just run straight forward past him. We're gonna juke that zombie, not take a bite there. I totally messed that up on Hotfix on Monday, but we didn't mess it up this time. I learned my lesson. Juke
So I
that
already took
zombie.
way too many bites, way too many lunges. I was only supposed to take one forced bite at like the start on the basketball court, but I got grabbed by 2 zombies just now, and already got swiped by a liquor. Oh God, is he gonna? Oh, okay. There we go. So I got to pick up this green herb in order to get us back into fine, get us back into full foot speed, which is pretty unfortunate. It's about, I'd say, about a minute time loss overall, because it's like on top of taking the damage to go. Okay, that was actually kind of lucky. But it's like on top of taking, like, you know, the expected damage, and, you know, it's like the extra 10 seconds or so. There's compound time loss that happens as a result of not being able to run at fastest speed. Oh God, okay, Marvin was actually really slow, but I was like, it was like running, hitting a bunch of walls, just bonking a bunch of walls. Great movement.
Very, very unfortunate RNG there. That liquor cost me this, and I put me in danger, and Mr. X caught up and finished the job.
Oh.
That's very unfortunate, but it's okay. We'll try again. The autosave is a little brutal here, so I'm going to lose quite a bit of time. That happened to me at Hotfix as well. This room here there's a lot of enemies back to back to back to back, and unfortunately, if you get bad luck, it can kind of throw the entire timing of this section off, and that's what happened. So that liquor put me in danger, which meant that its position was going to be different because I had to take a detour to grab the green herb in the next room. So, and then when that happens, Mr. X gets a little bit closer, and then it just changes the pathing entirely. So I wanted to try to see if I could save it, but unfortunately, it didn't work out in my favor. So we're gonna try again.
He's one of those types, always looking for a scoop.
There we go. See, that time he was turned around, so
I've been trying to find another way inside.
the process of him turning around meant that he couldn't just up and grab me.
If we work together, we can move this thing. Give me a hand here, will you?
Gosh, Eleanor's just being mean today. I'm very lucky that. All right, we're okay. We're okay. That bite's gonna put me back in danger again, but I did get the shelf moved in time. So there's a green herb up here that we can take that will fortunately save this, but that was again very, very bad luck, kind of 2 times in a row.
Let me guess. You must be Ben, right? Get up, now!
What do you want? I'm trying to sleep here.
Is this the guy?
Ben, you told the city officials that you knew something about what's been going on, didn't you? What did you tell them?
And who the heck?
So we got a little switcheroo that needs to happen
Find
here.
my boyfriend. His name's John. He was working for a branch office of Umbrella based in Chicago, but he suddenly disappeared 6 months ago.
With our gears.
I heard a rumor that he's here in the city.
I don't know anything. And even if I did,
And then we'll be able to get the next part. So we can leave the RPD.
Okay, I say we leave him in there. Does anyone know where they put the key to this cell?
I have
So,
it right here, officer.
How's the weather up in the Pacific Northwest? Really rainy?
Those zombies aren't the only things crawling around out there.
Was that question for me?
What was that?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I live in the Midwest, but
Oh, I thought you lived in like Seattle or something.
Get out of here.
I had some opportunity to live out there when I worked for Microsoft, but
I'm the only
I never followed through with it.
What? Look, if you want to live,
Yeah, I
Oh,
live
you
in
know.
Ohio, but it is rainy, believe it or not.
Yeah,
so,
the
rainy?
Midwest has
Oh.
in fact been nice and rainy.
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Go through and it'll
Yeah, well, you know, the weather over here is,
be easy.
you know, it's been nice and sunny until today. It's been pretty cold, you know, because, you know, it's like wind plus humidity. You know, it kind of goes through everything, and you especially don't want to be wearing denim in this kind of weather, because whenever you're wearing denim, it just gets, you know, a bit cold, bit chilly. Too chilly.
The one thing I do miss about living in Florida, I spent a little time there when I was in the military for training. I was in Pensacola, and the one thing I do miss is like that Gulf breeze. And I know. Obviously, Florida's a very big state. Not everybody gets the Gulf breeze, but the Gulf breeze is definitely something that I miss. And for a portion of the year when I was there, it was like springtime and the weather was perfect. It wasn't until like June when it was 95 at 5:30 a.m. and we had to go do workouts. That was when, yeah, PT was a little rough once the summertime hit. But so we're playing Sherry now. So after Chief Irons does his little creepy thing and kidnaps Sherry, Sherry has a mission to, you know, try to get out of this whole situation. So we have solved that puzzle, which that puzzle is RNG. There's actually RNG where you can actually just shift that block from the first to the third slot and then the puzzle's done. It's very, very rare that you get that. But once we solve that puzzle, we'll get that pair of scissors, which we use to escape the room. And now we are trying to find the key so we can escape. We gotta open some doors, and then we'll be entering the auto scroller portion of this run. Some nice opera music for you.
You don't have to push all of these boxes in a straight line, because once you do so, you can just hit the switch over here, and as long as they are in enough of a, as long as there's enough space pushed where you could just like walk across like all three of them, the game will just automatically adjust them all to just line them all up. We
are doing swag strats here, so little not so well known secret about Mr. Irons here. He's blind as a bat. So we're gonna just hide behind this little coffee thermos here.
Where are you?
Oh,
Show yourself.
there it is. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he does know that I'm in here. We're just gonna, you know,
It's gonna be.
walk literally right behind him, and he's gonna look right at us multiple times. But some runners that played this game way too much. I don't even think anybody knows who actually discovered this, but eventually people just started like standing up during portions of the Sherry bit, and they were able to figure out how
Just gotta be here somewhere.
to just like waltz around Chief Irons and not get detected during this little sneaking scene here. So we're just standing up, you know, giving a little disrespect there to Chief Irons and gonna carry on.
This reminds me
Here's
of the
the
like stealth missions in the PS4 Spider-Man game. They're just like this, where you can just like tap someone and walk behind them, and they just don't even know you're there.
He's gonna look right at us. Here we go. Oh, nope, he didn't even see it.
Son of a bitch.
More. Please.
This is your last fucking chance. Show yourself. Now.
What I attempted to do there was a dodge where if you walk around the corner, maybe it was like 1 step instead of 2 steps, then you can actually bait the liquor into jumping. But I'm pretty sure the timing is a lot tighter than I initially thought. I don't know. Liquors are very temperamental in Resident Evil 2 Classic. Not as temperamental as they are in the remake, but they're still not very easy to get around without taking a hit, so it is what it is. There's another strat here. Be a faster dodge to just go straight through the horde of zombies, typically called Yellow Horde, but I don't go for that. I just go ahead and waste the 2 seconds so that I can reliably pass around all of them. It's like dodging, you know, dodging these guys is like not difficult, but it's if I actually went for the Yellow Horde strat, then I would have probably been stuck in caution for the rest of RPD1, or RPD2 rather. This would be the RPD2 segment now that we're back from the sewers.
So silly me, I totally didn't actually go back for that pouch, but that's not a huge deal. That pouch, I think in the record run, is actually skipped anyway. So I would have been picking up 2 extra pouches, but it's just nice to have extra inventory space. I mean, anybody that's played Resident Evil knows how extremely daunting it can be sometimes when you run out of inventory space and then you have to go back to the item box, and then if you didn't kill the enemies on the way back to the item box, then it can get to be quite the conundrum. And so what we have done is just, you know, decided for some of the more optimal runs to really think about what inventory spaces are needed for what items and to try to optimize based on that. So there's some strats in Claire B specifically where you're actually banking items to try to free up inventory space for later in the run. And then once the item box is in a convenient location down the line, then you can retrieve those items that you've banked. Instead of carrying them with you for all that time, which is definitely a nice way to kind of showcase one of the more interesting features of Resident Evil. Because believe it or not, I mean, you know, playing RE games, it's very common that you'll bank items for later, but in the speed run, more often than not, you just kind of roll with what you have and fly through. But every once in a while, you get to see the item box action there and see the payoff down the road later in the run. So this part of the game here, actually, for Carsey, he would have traversed this much earlier in the run, the basketball court and the alleyways. But in the remake of RE2, they kind of just put this in as a segue to Claire's next segment of the game. But it's kind of cool that you get to see the iconic RE2 classic locations like this bus here and the basketball court and such, and Kendo's gun shop. Even in the remake, they still made an effort to include that. So.
Get away!
Now we're heading to try and meet up with Sherry. Unfortunately for Mr. Irons here, G. Birkin got a hold of him and things didn't turn out too well. He's dead now. We skipped that part, but we're now going to try to find Sherry, which we don't have to look far because, as it turns out, she's actually right here at the bottom of these stairs. But our little reunion is going to be short-lived because due to, Mr. X and G. Birkin getting into a bit of an altercation here momentarily, that is going to cause me and Sherry to get separated again. And we're going to rummage through a bunch of sewage and poop to try to find Sherry. And that's going to be a fun time because the sewers are literally toxic in RE2 Remake. It's where most runs go to die. If you didn't die already during the memes that were the courtyard, and if you miraculously made it through the unpredictability of RPD2, here we are. Claire B. Sewers. And I'm just gonna hope that I don't get grabbed by the zombies that are at the top of the staircase that we're about to traverse. Because I always forget that they're there for some reason. And they're mostly free. But knowing me, it's just my signature stamp. I just forget stuff all the time. But that's why we're talking about it now, so I don't forget. There we go, nice and clean. Well, not clean because it's the sewers, but you get the idea.
Hold on, Sherry. I'll be right there.
Coming up on the first boss fight. Equipped the Magnum when doing the clock tower puzzle. Hopefully the spider doesn't poison. Good. Yeah, going to and from in this waterway, spider is likely to poison, but after the cutscene is done, basically what I do is I run to the end of the caution stripe and I start shooting him. There is a bit of damage degradation from Magnum shots based on range. So you have to kind of get a little close in order to be able to kill the G mutant in 6 shots. So we're gonna turn, run. Okay, 2, 3, gotta shake it off. Almost. 4, oh, I'm gonna get hit. Awesome. 5, 6, okay, there. Can I make it past? Nope. This is awesome. This is great. Great RNG. Great RNG I just had.
We're now seeing the remake equivalent of what Carsey is fighting right now, which they are. It's not just one and done like it is in RE1. This one is actually they are all over the sewer, so we have to deal with about 6 of these guys. But fortunately for us, we're going to be picking up a very OP item called the Spark Shot here very soon. And that's going to help us deal with some of them. Not all of them. We're going to have to go through the first few without that item. But basically what we're doing here is we need these plugs, which Carsey is probably depositing or just recently deposited into the door after killing his G mutant. But we
Precisely one G mutant.
Precisely one G mutant, yes. And so we are now gathering the plugs. It's a little bit later in the remake that you do the plugs here, but we have to go gather those to open a very, very thick steel door so we can reach Sherry. And so we're going to be running all over the sewers to do that. All right, now if officially, this is where most runs go to die. So this area here is all about making things stressful. But again, we are going to be picking up the spark shot here before we leave. And I did bring some health for safety just in case. And if we do get grabbed and or poisoned, they allow you to take care of that right after you complete this segment. So we mentioned earlier that Claire moves faster in caution, so we're actually able to outrun that second one that we just dodged after shooting the first one here. And now we are going to try. We did that successfully. We shot the zombie. Sometimes this revolver is just incredibly inaccurate, and it takes a little bit to actually land a shot on that zombie, but we got it pretty quickly there, so that was good. And now we're going to start scooping up the plugs that are over here in order to be able to open that door. And the spark shot requires a bit of a detour into that door there, but the plug that we need to open that door is right up here, which we're also going to need for the big steel door. So we've got a little bit of a backtrack that we got to do to make this happen. But we're going to throw that king plug in there. We're going to grab OP spark shot. We're going to retrieve that same plug. Ooh, nice decapitation there. We got to try to dodge this guy because he can get a little memey. This is one of the hardest rooms in the game, actually, for RE2 remake speedruns, because this zombie, oh, we decapitated him too. Nice. Very nice. Except I forgot to grab the plug, so now I got to go back around. But yeah, that zombie is incredibly unpredictable. And so if you want to do this safely, you can actually bring a flash grenade with you, and it'll just stun him and give you time to do what you need to do in here and get out. But I left my flash grenade in the item box because I want to save that for G2, which is coming up here in just a moment. Before we get to G2, though, we must survive the absolute nightmare that is the sewers here. And I was not expecting to have to chuck a knife at that guy here, so I'm gonna have to pick up an extra knife in the labs. He grabbed me at like the most inopportune time. Very good.
Not really much to report in the sewers in my game. We're just running past a couple of spiders and maybe blow the head off of a crocodile in a second.
Gotta love that croc fight. Best boss in the game.
Oh, there is a little bit
right.
of tech to make it go kind of faster.
All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of a puzzle here, which I actually need to bank this T-bar handle since we're done with that so I can make room for the plugs. So we've got queen, followed by the bishop, and then we need to take the knight out of the one where the knight is supposed to go, which in the A scenario, you put the knight where it goes, but the puzzles are made a little bit different in the B scenarios just to throw you off when you beat the game the first time. They've changed up most of the puzzles.
So the strap for the crocodile, crocagator, whatever, I don't even know. I honestly don't know what the difference is. I guess it's a crocodile. I guess it's an alligator. Crocodiles have a longer snout, I guess, but whatever. That's beside the point. We gotta go to the switch over here, and we gotta wait for him to come around the corner, and he's going to, after he chomps, 1, 2, 3. If done correctly, he will grab the canister slightly faster than he's supposed to, and then we just blow it up, and he's dead.
Leon.
Oh, so my grenade actually missed here, which means that we're going to be a little behind on damage.
Quiet, Leon. I'll patch you up.
But that is okay. We're also going to lose some time. I think it may have done partial damage, but it'll depend on when he jumps. He typically will jump. You throw that grenade and it instantly deals the damage, which I got staggered, so it kind of threw off my grenade throw there. But generally speaking, that grenade toss hits immediately, you'll actually skip that whole phase. But as I mentioned before, my grenade toss was off, unfortunately, and it is resulting in this fight being a bit slower.
Got both the medals. I can now proceed to the marshalling yard, the train station. I actually don't even remember what it's called. Either way, it's not. Either way, it's not a section of video game that is in the remake.
I'm just getting pretty much destroyed by G. Birkin here, but it's because of the fact that that grenade hit didn't go off. So unfortunately, I had to use a little bit more of my knife than I had planned on in order to drop him down, and then I also had wasted that knife on the G mutant from earlier. So I'm a little behind, but there is. On the B scenario, it's actually relatively free to go detour for one of the knives that's in the save room, so I will make that detour to make sure that I have enough to be able to take care of G3, but that was G2. Basically, the way that fight works is you have to drop him to 50% of his HP before the crane will knock him off the platform, and when you hit him with the crane, it will deal 25%. So if you don't deal any damage to him, you'll have to hit him with the crane 3 times, but if you do some damage to him, then you'll be able to do it in 2, and then if you deal enough damage to him, you'll be able to one-cycle it, which is what we did.
Hold on, Sherry.
So we have now reunited with Sherry and learned that she has been implanted with a G embryo, and if we don't save her soon, she is going to turn into a G monster just like the monster we just fought. So we are going to try to make it to the lab in time to get her the antidote.
Cable car.
So on the way over to the next boss fight, we're going to push this guy back. There is a chance that he will not fall all the way over, but we need him to fall all the way over. Sometimes Ada will be a bro and help you out when we don't want her to. And if she starts shooting the zombie while we're trying to like shove him down, then he gets a free bite on us again. It's very, very, very rare, but it can happen. I'm gonna grab this first aid spray here as well because I've had enough bad surprises for one day. So come in here, we're gonna grab the D key. We're gonna take the Magnamu no Tama. And I'm gonna reload and then use the elevator key. Did I equip the Magnum? Please tell me I equipped the Magnum. No, I did not. That's the handgun.
I'm firing a shot here to try to manip the zombie on the other side to head towards the door. That's gonna save me some time. and ammo if he falls for the manip. Sometimes he won't. It's not 100% consistent, but it's pretty consistent that when you shoot there, the zombie that's on the other side will move towards the door and he'll deactivate while I'm going through this section until I have to run past him.
So, G2 boss. Here's what we're gonna do. The setup that I have is to just run directly to one of the corners of this octagon over here. As soon as the camera changes, go for the stun. 1, 2, 3, 4. After 8 shots, he'll transform, and at the end of the transformation, 1 more shot, he's down. Took a couple of hits, could have gone a little better, but it is what it is.
Yeah, likewise over here. So that zombie activated, and then he just decided to juke out like 4 spark shot rounds. So this was going to make for a very interesting end game. But I did pick up some extra spark shot ammo, and if I absolutely need more, there are an additional 3 rounds in the boss room. So not a big deal, but it'll just cost us some time if we have to pick up more ammo for it. But we're entering the main part of the lab here. We've upgraded our wristband, which is why we kind of went through that kitchen area earlier, was so that way we could access the east wing, and now we need to go get the upgrade so that way we can access the west area, which is all the way over there. So we're going to be facing off against a new enemy type called the Ivy, and they are a 1-hit kill. You do not want to run into these guys, but I do have some leftover flash grenades. I didn't have to use any for the G fight, so if I do get grabbed, I can use those defensively and prevent myself from what would otherwise be a 1-hit kill.
I know I'm not capable of caring about anyone, but I don't.
We have a few puzzles here to work out as well, so we're going to be grabbing this empty dispersal cartridge, and we need to fill that up. So entering those codes opens up the side room here that we're about to enter to go fill the dispersal cartridge, and then it also opens the hatch, which we'll use to go to a different area in the east wing, which we'll be able to use to then cool off the dispersal cartridge. It needs to be at a very specific temperature. Puzzle solution for this is very easy on the B scenario. It is 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Always 3, 2, 1.
Gotta make sure that I equip the Magnum before it gets too late, because I do want to use it to kill a few zombies.
All right, so as I mentioned before, when we had to defensively use that knife against the G mutant, I am going to have to detour for an extra knife here. So after I make some explodey things happen in this room, we're going to get the power on using this signal modulator. And then that will unlock all of the doors down here, and I'll be able to detour into this side room here to grab the extra knife that we'll need for the next boss.
This hallway, pure RNG. The liquor in the middle can get me, or just not. But I got swiped once, and that's what the first aid spray is for when bad things happen in this room. Fortunately, nothing too terribly bad happened, so I was able to proceed through it just fine. This run is looking to be a B rank. In Resident Evil 2 Classic, you can, well, okay, it's going to be an A rank because it is the Japanese version, but the Japanese version of Resident Evil 2 goes to S rank, Some people say that S rank exists in the US version, but that is false. The maximum rank in the US version is A version, which is or A rank, which is Japanese S. Ranking is based on a point system, and you can get away with using 2 first aid sprays before the game counts first aid spray usage against you, as long as you get under 2 hours and as long as you finish the game without using any saves. So yeah, I was looking about 3 hits or so. Yeah. Heading back up.
We're using the dispersal cartridge to go ahead and unlock this area here, which has our wristband upgrade. And then we'll be heading to what will be the series of, it'll be a series of 3 boss fights, pretty much back to back. The only difference being, oh, I got the meme where I dragged the wristband upgrade on top of the wristband and it moved the wristband over, so I had to combine it manually. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes it will not recognize the wristband as the correct combinable item when you first loot the upgrade to the wristband, and then you have to manually do it from the menu, but not a big deal. But we are now progressing to the west area. So as I was saying, there are 3 boss fights back to back, the only separation just being a little bit of running. And between the last 2 bosses, that running is much less than between the first and second boss. But we're going to be fighting 3 evolutions of G back to back. So we're going to be getting started with G3, who is going to pretty much melt because we're going to be using the knife, of course. And but it's a 3-phase fight. We're going to be skipping the second and third phase if all goes well, provided that all of our knife hits land properly. We'll be skipping the second and third phase. So we'll be dropping him down for phase 1, and then for 2 and 3, we'll just be knifing through that and he will die. The other issue is I don't know how much durability I have on these knives. I don't know if it'll be enough to kill with just knives, but I do have a couple of extra grenades that I picked up for safety. So if worse comes to worse, we can definitely throw a grenade right at the end and hopefully get the 1 cycle. You can lose 15 seconds on this fight if you don't get the 1 cycle, because he'll drop the panel down and he'll have iframes for that entire duration.
Thank God. The antiviral agent. Gotta get back to Sherry.
All right, so here's G3. We're going to open this fight up with the spark shot before we start using the knife. And we need to pop all 3 of these eyes. We're just going to line these up back to back to back. He's going to start approaching us, but that's good. That just means all the less room we have to run up to him when the time is right. He's going to drop here. We're going to go to his back. There's a little knife inventory swap glitch here that you can use to prevent the animation of you actually switching from knife to knife. All right, we did get the 1 cycle. Very, very nice. That was a clean fight. So he was about 3 seconds away from touching that panel where he would have had iframes for 15 seconds. So if we would have been too much later on that, actually it was probably about 2 seconds. If we would have been too much later on that, we would have had to wait 15 seconds to kill him. But that was a pretty clean fight. It's exactly what you're looking for if you're pushing for a PB. Or a world record for that matter. So we have the antidote now. We're going to head back to Sherry, which we left her in the security office. And what actually happened is that we gave the antidote to Annette, and Annette is actually treating her, but we're going to meet back up with them since it just makes sense, because plot, right? And now Annette is dead. We skipped that part. And all we're doing at this point is just egressing and running to the next boss. Nothing crazy happening here. There are going to be some enemies, but you can just pretty much run by them. We'll have to zap some ivies with the spark shot. And then we've saved a little bit of this pistol ammo for one zombie that we can just shoot once. This is going to be real close, I think. I think I see.
Well, this is the last long cutscene in the game, so yeah, you might be right. Let's find out. What's faster,
close.
chat?
Yes. What's faster? RE2 Remake would have been a hell of a lot faster if I didn't die to a Mr. X punch and lose 2 minutes, but
75% of chat says that Remake is faster.
It's
According
gonna
to
be close.
the prediction.
It's going to be real close. Those G transformations that Car Seat is about to endure, they take a little bit of time. They're sort of like mini cutscenes, but they take a little while to get through. So it's definitely going to be close. I can skip all of my cutscenes, but I also have an extra boss fight to do, which is 45 seconds more past killing G4. So, and I forgot to hold the door open for Sherry, so I'm going to lose 3 seconds. Whoops.
All right. So here's what we do for this fight. Going to open the fight by standing on the P. We got to stand in the P first. That's how we do. And then aim down and then do 4 shots. I do like 4 regular shots because the timing is good enough to actually kind of set up his angles so that he's more likely to jump on top of the set of tubes on the left side of the room. And when he does that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step over and angle my foot in between the railing, and that's the setup. Okay, there, good. Is this good? Okay, yeah, there it is. I hear the hit confirmed, that's good. As long as you're in the correct space, then he will not jump off, and you can just keep aiming up and wailing into him, and he's done. There we go. Time.
Grats. So that's what we saved some ammo in the pistol for. You just shoot that zombie once and he falls over and dies. Nothing crazy there. And we are running up on G4 now. Man, this would have been real close if I didn't die. That would have been insanely close. So we're gonna run up here. We gotta grab the joint plug. We're gonna have to make some room. Because I didn't discard some stuff that I needed to discard, but that's okay. We're gonna use the plug, which will ultimately make some room for the minigun. And G4, here we go. So this fight is all about popping as many of these eyes as you can. We're gonna throw a grenade and he's gonna actually stumble here. And I'm gonna switch knives. We're gonna hit him a couple times on this side and then we're gonna rotate. Try to land one more hit there. He's gonna pretty much, he didn't do the full spin into the train car there, but we can throw another grenade and that'll drop him down. And at that point, we're gonna go in and with the minigun very quickly.
Wait, wasn't it an S rank? I didn't see.
We're gonna grab another knife. And now we're gonna be doing G5. And this fight is pretty laid back.
Oh.
We're gonna run away. Out here is good. We're gonna slash 12 times once G moves up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We actually have to cut back a little bit because I'm actually gonna do a safe strat here because I haven't actually practiced the knife on this fight in a while, but there it is. GG time. So normally you would knife that, but I haven't done a B scenario with a knife in a while. So I just wanted to wrap that up with the minigun. But we did most of the damage with the knife before, so G5 would have been at like 20% HP by the time we got to that point. But you can't drop him below 20% until after the eye comes out from the middle. So GG.
Nice. GG's. All right. Well, we have one more race and we're tied up 1-1 now. So we're going to go to a quick break so everyone can stretch and get water and we can set up for these next games. But then we'll be back for the final race between Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 3 Remake. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you got an opportunity to get up and stretch, get some water, and get ready for this final race of the evening. But before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping items. Frost Vital's game and volunteer submissions will be open from November 2nd through 14th. Go to gamesdonequick.com for more information. And if you've missed out on any GDQ hotfix shows, or if you got into this one late and you want to see the two races that happened before this, check out our archive of past runs and shows at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for Going Places, a show about regional exclusives and portable games, followed by How to Train a Speedrunner, a show where runners come on and give tutorials on how to speedrun their games. And with that, we are ready for our final race of the evening, Resident Evil 3 versus Resident Evil 3 Remake. So, Carsey, Hazeblade, feel free to take it away.
All right, cool. So, Resident Evil 3, I'm playing Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and Hazeblade is playing just Resident Evil 3. Yeah, so I'm playing this this weird Chinese port that the whole Resident Evil 3 PC running community just you know, they're saying that you know, it's the fastest version or something like that. I don't remember what it's called in Chinese, something like Shouyu Wei G3 or something like that. I don't know. But anywhoozin.
Here, let me fix that real quick.
Anyway, so you might also see in the bottom right, it says GL tool activated. So in Resident Evil 3, there's a 50% chance of getting a grenade launcher or a magnum. And because I'm playing with the classic Rebirth patch written by Gemini, there's a little toggle that I can hit, and I will get a grenade launcher in the locker every time because, you know, it's just not very fun. You know, losing 50% of your runs to not getting a weapon in the locker. It just doesn't really make for very good. Very fun speed running. But you know, once you do that, I would say it increases the fun factor by about you know, a good 20% for the run. But yeah, so are you ready to go?
I am.
Okay, cool. 3, 2, 1, heavy mode. Up. Wait. There's an additional dialogue. What's it going to be, chat? What's it going to be? What costume? What costume? What costume do you want? Oh, it's Xinghua Weiji. Thank you, Wolf DNC. I actually don't even know the intonation because I can't speak Chinese anyway. Right. So, biker, stars, disco, police, sort, which is Dino Crisis costume from Resident Evil 3, or Dino Crisis costume from Resident Evil 3. I think I need some water. I don't know.
Let's go with sort. I like dinosaurs. That sounds good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's Halloween in Raccoon City, and she decided to be Regina. Cool, awesome. You guys ready?
I'm ready. I loaded the game and then I paused it because there was more dialogue.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. This is an additional dialogue box that it keeps you know, I keep running into these dialogue boxes because, you know, I only ever play this game on console, you know, where you can just hit heavy mode and just jump directly into the game. But, you know, I'm playing this mod, and, you know, now there's just these options for infinite ammo, special weapon. Okay, for real this time. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm waiting 2 seconds. Just okay. All right, we're good. I was looking at the live preview for yours to make sure there wasn't another dialogue. We forgot to mention this earlier, but in an effort to kind of make the times line up, we do have a special category for RE3, which is the no intro category. Long story short, most RE3 runners hate the intro. Okay, it's terrible because it's just literally hold W for 5.5 minutes, and then you get to play the game. So we're playing the no intro category, which again, it's kind of a meme category, but it kind of allows it to sort of line up with the RE3 Nemesis, the better game's timings.
Oh, the better games. So you actually do admit that it's the better game, like just straight up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right. There we go.
I'm getting wrecked by zombies already. This is a great time. We're manipping DA. We'll go with that. Despite the fact that DA does not manip easily in this game. But we have what's called the perfect dodge mechanic in RE3, and admittedly it does work a lot more smoothly in the remake than it does in the classic version of the game. But the classic version of the game is still better.
Yeah, there's quite a few differences between the classic version of Resident Evil 3 and the remake of Resident Evil 3. First and foremost of which is, my nemesis is not a set piece. His is. You know, because he only chases you throughout, like, you know, a very, very small portion of the game. But, you know, now we're over here. Gotta squeeze in between these zombies. I'm gonna get bit by this guy, and as long as we have, if we get grabbed within 10 seconds here, we get a free shove. One free shove, precisely one free shove. And yeah, so I was able to get out of here with 180 HP. Not bad, not bad. Can I merc this? Yes, I can. They didn't go turbo. Neither of these zombies went turbo. That's fantastic. Zombies have a tendency to move either slow, average speed, or they will go turbo, in which case they're going to completely body block you from any angle that you can dodge. I'm gonna squeeze over here, follow Brad into the bar, be skipping cutscenes, and grab the lighter, out.
I actually can't tell right now whether I'm playing RE3 Nemesis or RE3 because I have been bit so many times in these first 2 minutes that I'm just not sure.
So the zombie I just dodged over here, if you, in a specific camera angle, you can actually see him moving in the background, and if you actually do see him moving in the background, then you actually get to figure out whether or not you dodge him from one angle or the other. And in that case, because he was moving, I just get to move right behind him. Yeah, so This scene right here pretty much just cements Nemesis is not a set piece. Unfortunately, we don't get to watch it because my FMVs are turned off, and this is a speed run. I'm gonna turn around. We choose go into the police station and turn around and go directly into the doors because if we just choose, well, no, sorry, we choose fight the monster, and then we choose, then we run directly in. It's been a while since I played this game in English. You'll have to forgive me. Okay.
That's
0,
the
1,
best cutscene in
3,
the whole
1.
franchise, in my opinion, when Brad gets just absolutely pulverized by Nemesis.
Yeah.
My favorite cutscene in the whole franchise, anyway. Was very disappointed that didn't make it into the remake.
Yeah. So the puzzle there that I just solved, there's 4 possible solutions. Oh, this is bad zombies. Bad zombies because like they can just totally block your view, and if your muscle memory ain't good, then you know there's a likelihood that you're going to run into one of them. So you can see in the bottom right, my limit break has been broken, and I get a grenade launcher. See, look at that. Look at that.
First try.
First try grenade launcher. I got insane luck from that wicked sick limit break I just cast on myself. Anyway, going through here, take the blue gem. There's also another strat called delayed input canceling, which I am not doing because I'm not really sure how to configure that on controller. I will ask that any other time, but now I am busy speedrunning a video game. Exit, pretty good. So yeah, delayed input canceling, basically what goes on is whenever there is a yes or no dialogue, or really any dialogue where there's like a little arrow that shows up, there is like a 2-frame delay before you can choose your option. Well, choose the initial option, I should say. You could just switch over to no and then hit confirm and it would be fine. But in the case of yes or no options and you need to choose yes, you need to hit right and then left in order to skip that delay, which is the aforementioned delayed input. And we're canceling it. Veer over here, and then we're gonna go through here. You know, I actually just played a beta for this game a little while ago, and the cutscene for this is like way different. It actually shows like a body, like the body that we just ran past, just like flies down first. I don't know why they like deleted that in the final build. Kind of weird. We gotta run forward a little bit to lure the first guy forward, run behind him, and then try to squeeze in between these other zombies. Hopefully, if done fast enough, the second to last zombie will be vomiting on the stairs. In case you're wondering why the hatch is transparent, it's a weird Chinese version thing. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm gonna look this way so you guys can see my set piece as we begin the first enemy encounter of the game. Sorry, keep going, Carsey. I just wanted to acknowledge the set piece.
So we're we go into the basement here. In doing so, we actually change the set of cutscenes that we get. Tried to do an emergency evade. I actually call them emergency evades in this game because it can either be a dodge, it can be a shove, one or the other. But you know, functionally they are the same in both the original and the remake. You press R1 and Jill will either shove the enemy or do a dodge roll. The way it works in the original game, anyhow, is if you are aiming from the time you are standing to the time that you fully raise your gun, those are called your aiming frames. And if an enemy's attack lands within those aiming frames, then that's when the emergency evade procs. So once it procs, depending on the enemy, depending on the attack, it'll either be a sidestep, a dodge, a shove in the case of zombies. You can also do things like keep Jill's back towards a zombie in order to extend your aiming frames, making it a lot easier to just chain shoves back to back. So you can quick turn, you can shove, you can do all sorts of things. As far like out of all the classic Resident Evils, this one is certainly the most technical. Just, you know, of all the options that Jill has, just like off the top. But it also, you know, still does plenty to subvert people's expectations. So, you know, still a very good like horror game in its own right. Yeah. So another thing that I'm doing late crank. There's a gas station that we go to. You could either go to the gas station early or you could go to the gas station late. And in order to line up my inventory correctly, I'm doing the gas station late. This room, there can either be dogs or there can be zombies. There were dogs, fortunately, so that means that I don't have to blow up any of the barrels and I can just run past. So got a little bit of a time gain here. And few dodges here, but you know, nothing really worth talking about. So Hayes, what about you? Where are you at?
So Jill, did you decide to help us out? It looks like we're the only ones. Jill, put this on.
Hayes? Hazeblade? Are we running into technical difficulties here? What's...
That's a good question.
I cannot hear Hazeblade. Can you hear anyone? Oh, oops, I wasn't supposed to go this way. This way is... We don't have the crank yet. That's just force of habit. And take a bite here, shove these guys back, and grab the, There we go. Squeeze right on by. Huh. Huh. The technical difficulties are really strong today.
Well, I'll let you know where Hayes is. There's a gross-looking thing in a sewer. That's the best I've got for you, being a not Resident Evil person.
Sounds about right. All right, go over here and come on now. Come on. I was gonna delay that for a sec, but it didn't work. What I was hoping to do was get that zombie to vomit, but he didn't vomit. Yeah, I'm sure Hazeblade will notice before too long that things are a little quiet.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Can hear you now.
We can hear you now, yeah.
So I hot swapped my headset battery, and everything broke after I did that because my battery was dying. And yeah, is my game quiet now too? Like through the stream? Oh, the swallow. I'm super scared in this section because I have no game audio right now. I don't know if you guys are hearing it, but I cannot. Okay. Interesting. I wonder.
All right. Technical crisis averted.
Well, I still can't hear anything. I have no idea.
Mostly averted.
What is happening? It's all right. I can play the game without audio, but yeah, it's... Note to self, hot swap, not in the middle of a run.
We can certainly pause and give you a minute to fix your audio if you'd like.
Honestly, I don't even know where the disconnect is happening, because I'm looking at the stream and the desktop audio is coming through, but I'm wondering if in Windows it didn't go back to voice meter. I'm fine for now, though.
All right, sounds
right.
good.
If you guys can hear it, that's all that matters.
So where are we at now? Yeah, so Nemesis spawns in. This is the fourth encounter. He's got a rocket launcher. Oh, no. Okay, I messed up that dodge kind of bad. It's fine, it's fine. Just gotta go wide. There we go. Not the worst recovery in the world. Salvageable. We'll use the wrench over here. Take the hose. I usually like to shoot the barrel over here, get rid of these guys. Well, get rid of one of them anyway. The worst one, which is just like sitting right there in the middle, and it's just got a really decent chance of hitting you, sometimes even chaining you, as drain demos tend to do.
All right, we should be good now. I was able to go back in and fix it mid-cutscene.
Hey, good job.
All right. Having that stuff happen to you, like when you're like on PB pace, is just like the most like frantic thing ever when you're running competitively.
Have you thought about buying a wired headset?
I have them laying around, but I just prefer the wireless. I'm like I'm exactly that person that stands up and then just like breaks stuff because I forgot that I'm wearing wired headphones. I'm that person, and that's why wireless headphones are required in my life.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
So I punched in a code, Sapsprin. There's like usually three solutions, and Sapsprin is by and far the most common, so everyone tries Sapsprin first. And yeah, these zombies over here, I'm gonna go wide, dodge in between these guys, and shove one. And if you just take one bite, you can actually like get out of this room pretty easy. And that guy went turbo, which is fine. And we initiated an auto dodge. Basically, if it happens that a zombie is about to bite Jill immediately after she comes out of another grab, then she will initiate an auto dodge, well, an auto shove, an auto emergency evade, automatic emergency evade. I could say this many, many different ways, the exact same way. And she'll just shove the zombie. And it's pretty convenient, especially because in this game there are a lot of enemies. This game is sort of balanced with the idea that there would be a lot of enemies in mind. Now we have like the last component that is, well, second to last component, I should say. Oh.
And here on the remake side of things, we just downed our first Nemi encounter, which is basically 6 shots to his flamethrower tank, followed by a grenade, and then once his little foot wiggles, then we throw another grenade, and then he's done. But pretty chill over here. RE3, when you're not running this game competitively, is a pretty chill run. Except for, and hopefully it doesn't happen during this run, there's a thing it's called ghost mines, and basically when we get the grenade launcher later, the mine rounds sometimes just actually don't work. You'll shoot them, they'll explode, and nothing takes damage, nothing staggers, they just don't work. But we do have some interesting tech coming up here, which is going to be manipulating Nemi's rocket launcher. And so when he starts firing the rocket launcher, if we look at this wall, he'll actually, instead of firing early, he'll like move up into a different position, which will make it much, much easier to complete this line here without getting hit by the rocket. So some pretty specific movement and camera tech there. Nemi rocket launcher strats are very similar to like the liquor strats that we were doing in RE2 Remake to try to manip the liquors into doing things. Nemi also has some camera tech as well, where depending on where you're looking, it will change the way he behaves. So like, for example, he won't leap to cut you off by like jumping in front of you if you're directly looking at him. He'll only do that if you're running away from him and not looking at him with your camera. So we do a little bit of that to try to maneuver past Nemi and make it much easier to bypass. And now we're being chased by a giant toy uncle, rolling casually down the walkway there.
Fortunately, upon coming out of the gas station here, dodging Nemesis is a very easy affair. Just hold up.
Carlos is here to save us, as per usual. He's not going to leave us in a cold, cruel, Carlos-less world today.
After this cutscene, we're going to be doing Gravedigger. Gravedigger is not present in the remake. He was replaced with a redesigned Hunter Gamma. And, you know, you can see like the mandibles on the Hunter Gammas and what have you. So, you know, just...
I got eaten by one a few minutes ago.
Oh, cool.
While I was lacking audio.
What about you?
We got eaten by a Gravedigger Gamma.
So because we chose to go into the basement, Carlos will not be giving us any flame rounds here. And we're going to be figuring out in just a moment whether or not we're getting early or late powders. Early powders means that we can skip the Carlos cutscene and also get like 10 freeze rounds, which will ultimately be the fastest ammo route. I don't know. We got 2 more camera angles. Let's find out. 1. Okay, like 5 actually. Okay, so no, we got powders in the we got powders a little late, so that's unfortunate.
So I was wasting a bunch of ammo there when we encountered the remake Brad zombie, who suffers a much less brutal fate than Brad in RE3 Nemesis. But yes, we have juked past Brad zombie, and we wasted a bunch of ammo because we need to free up some inventory space for the Carlos section. So you don't really use the pistol much at all. So we're just going to burn through that ammo, so that way we can free up the inventory space and make the management of the inventory a little bit easier. We're going to bank the knife and move the pistol into a different item slot while this shutter is going up for optimal management, as it were. And I'm sure all this looks pretty familiar because we were just here about an hour ago. Maybe a little more than an hour ago. So we are doing the RPD as Carlos. And obviously in RE3 Classic, you would go through this segment as Jill. But alas, here we are as Carlos. Basically doing what Jill would have done, except as Carlos. We're gonna take this bite here. There is a faster way of doing this, but it requires a great deal of tech and luck. I'm not in the dice rolling mood at the moment, so... but there is a way to actually get through that hallway without getting bit at all. We're going to kill this zombie because we don't want him to activate later. And we're going to grab the key to the armory downstairs. We're going to throw the flash grenade. It was definitely not intended for me to throw that flash, and it bounced right off of that zombie's face, but you know what? We'll take it. 104 is the code, and that's going to get us a battery.
So as I was mentioning earlier with the powders, if we were able to get the powders early, then our inventory would have been completely full, and we would have skipped the cutscene where Carlos gives us the freeze rounds. I opted to just go ahead and grab the freeze rounds because it actually makes dealing with Nemesis very slightly easier. Why do I have? Oh, it's because. It's fine. It's fine. Where are we? What's the code? Oh, it's crystal, obsidian, amber. Okay, there it is. I'm holding on to this fast over here just because.
What you're witnessing here is the equivalent of RE3's YOLO Horde, and it went terribly, as you can tell. It was going incredibly well until I didn't squeeze past the liquor. We'll try it one more time. If I die again, then I will do the safe strat.
Ooh, that could have been close. Yeah, so the spider there, sometimes whenever you come out of the room there, the spider does tend to spit acid. I'm not actually sure of like the spiders work anything like they do in Resident Evil 2, where like waiting about a half second will change the spider's AI just a little bit. All right, equip this. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, my inventory got a little jammed because I grabbed an extra first aid spray, or I kept a first aid spray that I wasn't really supposed to have right about now. All right, and then start of the fight.
We're going to be approaching the second Nemi encounter as far as like actual boss fights go. Technically, it's like, I don't know, like the fourth or fifth Nemi encounter. But for actual boss fighting purposes, this is Nemi 2. And he is going to be a dog, basically. Doggo Nemi. And we're going to unload our grenade launcher and shotgun on him. There is some tech here to try to get a critical hit early, where if he's in the middle of a jumping attack, if you time it just right, which we'll see if I get it here, then you'll get a critical hit, which we did. So his parasite will actually expose without having to deal a certain amount of damage to him. So that allows us to do some extra damage nice and early.
There could either be spiders or Drain Demos in that hallway, but it's especially unlucky to get Drain Demos there because they can just hit you whenever they feel like it. I tend to play the Carlos section very safe, just because, you know, a lot of things can just go wrong. You can just die for dumb reasons. Also, in this version of the game, zombies do not decapitate from the looks of it. Oops. I was supposed to grab that tape recorder.
There also appears to be a slight fracture in his right arm just below the elbow. However,
Let's see here. Was it, yeah, fourth floor first.
And that's Nemi 2. It's a little slow. My inventory was full, so I couldn't pick up all of the shotgun shells right away. So I had to stagger the fight and make that a little bit longer so I could use some ammo and then pick up the rest of the shotgun shells when I was done. But Jill has been infected with the T virus, and Carlos is, as usual, coming to save the day.
Coming into this room, the shelf, depending on what direction the drawers are, we actually get to determine what side we push the shelf to. And I got lucky and actually got this first try. But if the shelf is pushed into that position, then the code is going to be 325. So, pretty good. Now we go B3. And we got zombies? No. Okay, so we're going to have hunters on the way out. There could be zombies any number of places depending on... Oh, shoot. Well, how am I playing Resident Evil 3 on PC? I am glad you asked. Did you know that there is a native PC version of the game? Yeah, not a whole lot of people do, but it works.
Sometimes. If you set it up right.
Depends on who you ask, I guess.
You try to just, like, you know, acquire a copy nowadays and just install it. It just, like, it might work depending on, you know, how you have your PC set up. All right, so Carlos section remake. Of course, kind of same premise as with the classic version of the game. We are on a mission to find the antivirus to the T-virus vaccine, excuse me. I don't know if the terminology even matters really, but we are going to be facing off against some hunters and pretty much just running past all of them. Again, very similar to like Nemi and Lickers. They do have some camera manipulation that you can do on them. But for the most part, we're going to run by. We might get hit a couple times, but that's okay. There's going to be like an absolute crap load of health and weapons and ammo and all that stuff later. So taking damage now isn't a huge deal. But we're going to try to punch this one when we first come into the room. There we go. Except the other hunter just decided to, like... He just decided to do some weird memes. But basically, looking up at the ceiling kind of manips their AI. Again, very similar to the Lickers, to where they just kind of become passive blobs of meat that just sit there and do nothing. Hence why we're able to just run past them.
Run straight past Nemesis here, and on the way out, we're going to grab these grenade rounds here, which are going to be necessary for mixing up some acid rounds, which we need for the next boss coming up. Wait a sec. I actually want these mine thrower darts here. Please and thank you.
Who do you think you're talking to? I'm goddamn Nathaniel Bard. I'm the best bio.
And
okay, this
while
is
we're in here,
pardon my French. This right here is goddamn Nathaniel Bard. He's the best at being dead. And we are going to acquire the vaccine.
Is it here? All right, Joe. Hang tight.
So no zombies here means hunters, and we can just run straight past. That was actually kind of not a great dodge. More hunters, okay. Oh, God. Oh, that's really bad. Somehow I'm still fine. Okay.
That was spooky.
Yeah, I know. I thought I was actually going to get stun locked there for a moment. Oh. Was not expecting that situation.
Any RE4 fans in the chat? This is for you. Cabin 2.0 right here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go.
5.5 minutes of just shooting zombies.
We'll be fighting Gravedigger again here in a second. Not before collecting a couple of resources here. Grab this pipe. Grab this gunpowder B. This other gunpowder B. And we're gonna mix them. Actually, probably would have been better to just use the lighter first and then use the pipe. Mix everything when using the pipe. Certainly. Oh. Take these grenades, grab the key.
Still shooting zombies. Nothing new.
All right, start of the fight. We gotta wait for him to pop his head out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slow, fast. There. And I did a dodge roll there. We just gotta keep turning, trying to get him to time out his underground phase. Oh, there he is. That's bad. Oh, that. Oh, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Yeah, after he does his attack, that's when he gains armor, and then he's going to go back under the ground. It's pretty awesome. So we got an extra phase to fight him. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, that's... that could have been a whole lot worse. I knew he was down to 1 HP. It was just a matter of actually scoring that one HP.
Resident RNG 3 meme assist. That's right there for you. Classic.
How's your zombie shooting going?
It is. We're having a grand old time over here. We've got about another minute or so of zombie shooting before we are done zombie shooting and moving on to the next section of the game. We have one more hunter showing up momentarily. which hunters die with 1 grenade, fortunately. Nice and easy. All right, we are just about done shooting zombies, but then after this zombie shooting segment, we have another like 30 seconds of just like waiting for the explosion. So
The fastest choice here is to choose push him off, because it sets up the events and cutscenes in the fastest way, even though there is very slightly more running. I'm gonna grab these gunpowder A's here and grab this key. Take this fast as well. And then hit the switch if the game will let me hit the switch. Thank you. And I gotta hit this switch over here. And then we can just clip through this last bit of steam here in order to hit the button. The steam causes 0 damage to you, so, you know, there's really no point in solving this puzzle a legit way.
all right, so we are heading into Nest 2.
My final game area is better than his.
Oh my gosh, yes, I agree. I agree to all.
Come on, can't you just play along for once, Hayes?
I can't. I despise this game. Like, it's no secret in my community that I despise this game. It's like, it's just one of those, it's one of those things where like it ran its course, but the game frustrated me to no end, which is why I ultimately stopped running the game. But that being said, for people that are watching it for the first time, it is definitely worth watching. But as far as playing goes, as a competitive speed game, there's a lot of memes. A lot of memes. Like, and not even like RE3 classic memes that are just like, you know, RNG, reset, blah, blah, blah. Like, just like game broken stuff. I can't even. Jill looks great though.
All right, let's see if I can't remember what the puzzle solution is. I can usually solve this without having to refer to any guides. And then mid. No, okay, so that would mean that the first one has to be. That means that the first one has to be slotted to the right a couple of times, I think. No, to the left. No, it's 4 times. Yeah. Okay. And then B is right twice, and C is left twice. Got it. Always solve for A first. B and C fall quite easily afterwards.
We have 3 fuses to collect in this giant warehouse, which we just grabbed the first of 3. We have some explodey things happening.
Please move forward, zombie. Oh, wow, that was close. It's kind of a tough set of enemies
past
there.
That zombie. And then we're gonna head towards our next fuse. Basically, this warehouse, I'm pretty sure this was the testing ground for RE Resistance. It looks almost exactly like the warehouse that is in the, I think it's the downtown level of Resistance. And yeah, so essentially Nikolai here has sabotaged the power, and so we need to go collect the fuses from 3 different terminals. And then once we have that on, we can proceed into Nest 2.
So I just made it to Garbage Nemesis. This fight, normally you would do it with the knife and just melt him with acid, but doing it with the knife, the timing is rather strict, and if you miss, then you're going to spend a lot of time trying to lure him into a very temperamental game mechanic, and it just never cooperates with me. So this is what I'm going to do instead. 1, 2, 3. Hold up right. Got the dodge. 1. And not again. Come on. Okay. Oh. Yeah, okay, this is definitely not the optimal. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gotcha. Yeah, so 15 flame rounds is always going to be enough. Because I actually went and got the freeze rounds and actually made the boss fight a little easier. The clock tower boss fight a little easier. It meant I only had to mix 2. Or it meant I only had to mix like 4 gunpowder A's to get like the number of flame rounds that I need throughout the game. I'm just gonna go ahead and... Oh wow, would you look at that? I actually got the... Muteki run there. Cool. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty straightforward. Except these guys are... Please get out of my way, thank you. Worth it.
Sure you don't need to stop?
Stop and do what?
I'm not gonna take any chances, so I'm gonna take this first aid spray. And... What I should have done was I should have used that whenever I went to go use the card key. Should have equipped that. So the reason why I like the mine thrower here is because the mine thrower just absolutely melts Nemesis HP. Final Nemesis HP. First we check this. Parsi trying to sound like he's using a solid tactic. Well, I got past it, didn't I?
All right, Carsey's tactics are a lot more solid than mine. At this point, we're just praying my audio doesn't cut out again. My computer just decides to disconnect my headphones again. You'll get to see a pretty cool mine. Well, provided that I don't get ghost mines, you'll get to see some cool mine round tech here in a moment against a legion of hunters.
But yeah, they used to be the strat once upon a time before knife was actually found to be like the fastest by like 7 seconds or so. Like an average of 7 seconds was using flame rounds, but you know, I still find that strat to be a lot easier, just simply because, you know, if it's, you know, it's like really easy to fail the acid, and I'd rather be safe. And if it's only 7 seconds, then it's like whatever. All right, so Nemesis is right there, and 6 shots, and yeah, Nemesis doesn't really take a whole lot of hit stun here. Is he done? Yeah, I think I just melted his HP. Oh yeah, he's turning away. He's done.
We're basically just using the mine rounds to just clear everything there. The mine rounds, when they work, are they're great. They do a lot of damage and you know, splash radius and whatnot. But yeah, when they work. We're actually gonna plant one here. And by alternating, we can actually string together a chain of mines that's going to kill both of those two together.
So yeah, you can see Mine Thrower just turns this fight into a very, very easy. Oh dang! I didn't choose Exterminate the Monster. Sorry about that. It just, you know, it just makes it a really, really easy one cycle. Otherwise, you'd have to do some stuff with, like, I don't know, leftover rounds or something like that. I don't know.
They wanted
feels a
stars,
lot cleaner.
Carsey.
Now we have a rather unfortunate.
They wanted stars.
It seems that the president
Yeah,
and
sorry
the
about that.
Council have passed judgment over the
I wanted to give I did. I wanted to give him stars, but
Council have ruled that the
I forgot which option it was.
is the best course of
I think it's the only one in the game that's not. I think it's the only one that you
Based on that
to
fact,
leave early. It's the only one you pick second, so it's first.
the map. Current reports
Oh,
have the
by the way,
Council
time.
passing the 100,000 mark. Our hearts go
If I were
out
playing the
to those
game
who
with the
live.
Japanese voice tracks here, I'd say 2 seconds. And apparently it didn't combine. That's cool. So that's fun. There we go. And our water puzzle is 3 buttons. I'm pretty sure this was supposed to be the water puzzle, and they just dropped the ball on that. And we're approaching 2 back-to-back Nemi encounters. We have Nemi 3 and 4. We don't really need these explosive rounds here, but I'm just taking some stuff for safety.
What in God's name is this place?
So Jill, very much like Claire in RE2 Remake, runs faster in caution. However, it's not as substantial as it is with Claire. So I actually more often than not just tend to run in fine because of the extreme lack of forgiveness in this game. All right, so that's phase 1 done. You can actually, sometimes, it doesn't always work, you can interrupt this roar. We're actually a little low on damage now because normally that would stun him. We're gonna set this guy on fire. We're gonna actually drop some flame round there to get him burning, taking some ticking damage while we're unloading with the shotgun. We have a zombie over here that we need to be really careful of. He should. Yep, there it is. He just runs her over and she dies. He's gonna jump onto that, which we can then set him on fire again. If we actually alternate between weapons and back to the grenade launcher, it saves a little time. And like I said, I'm a little low on damage here, so I'm just gonna rock the grenade launcher there and get the job done. So pretty much Nemi 4's back to back. We don't have a lot of traversal to do here.
Have to get that vaccine back.
I lost some time because I died back in sewers. I lost about a minute. But we are now ready for Nemi 4. Which all I'm saying, okay, the only thing about this game that's better than RE3 Classic is the Paracelsus sword. This thing is insane on this game. We're gonna pop some pustules here, very disgusting. And we can hit all 3 of these power cells on standard difficulty for effectively a 1 cycle. any other difficulty you cannot do. Well, you can do it on assisted, obviously, but any harder difficulties and you can't one cycle this. But there's that. There's the third power source. And we're going to grab the Paracelsus sword. And we're going to blow Nemesis into next week in terms of, you know, laser beams and such. And it's great because when you look at the blast that's about to happen here, it goes through like 6 walls. Look at that. Oh, this thing's packing, dude. Packing. If you're stuck and you can't get the last file for your achievement, by the way, it's on the other side of that door. You might have saw the tooltip for it. Everybody misses that file and they're like, where is it? I want my achievement. Everybody's just like so focused on ending the game right here that they just miss out on the file that's right there. It's just like sitting on the floor. I think it's like something about Nikolai's orders or whatever from his little double agent situation that he has going on. All right, and last boss right here, dead. Well, presumably. GG.
GG. Thank you both for being here.
No problem.
Hey, my pleasure.
If you both have shout outs, go ahead and tell us where we can find you, shout out the communities, do all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's time. But yes, if you guys would like to tune in, first and foremost, thank you all for being here. But if you would like to discover and enjoy some content, head on over to twitch.tv/Hazeblade. You guys can also find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff at Hazeblade TV. But yeah, we do a lot of speedrun content on my channel. I was doing a lot of RE content for a long time, hence why I still know these games even after so long. But lately we've been doing Back 4 Blood. I was actually just at Twitch Rivals right before this, where we came in 2nd place. And that's kind of my main speed game right now is Back 4 Blood. So hope to see you guys over at the channel.
All right, congrats. So, yeah, you find my stream at twitch.tv/carcinogenSDA. For about like the last couple of years, you know, like I said, I'm just like now getting back into speedrunning. Like a lot of my stuff used to be like predominantly speedrunning, but for the last like couple of years, I've been doing no damage runs and whatnot. Got a bunch of those on my YouTube channel, like fully commentated. You know, I have done it, and so can you. YouTube.com/carcinogenSDA as well. I will also be streaming Resident Evil 1 HD Remaster in the Halloween event in a couple of days. At also here at Games Done Quick main channel. So go check it out. And yeah. I think that's about all I got. So thank you very much for having me on this event today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again to both of you. Before we go, just a couple more announcements. Reminder that Frost Vital's game and volunteer submissions will be open from November 2nd through November 14th, and you can get to those by going to gamesdonequick.com. And tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for Going Places, and then that will be followed by How to Train a Speedrunner, which are a couple of our newer shows. And then as far as what's coming up on What's Faster, on the next episode in a couple of weeks, we'll have 4 games for you. It'll be Super Mario Odyssey versus A Link to the Past, followed by Star Fox Score Run against Metroid Dread. So looking forward to that. Please come by and watch that. Thanks again, and have a good rest of your evening, day, wherever you're at.
Good night, everyone.